stream. Stop stream. Are we live yet? Let's see over here. Okay, so we are live. So right now we're currently we're gonna be live on the air with Jesse and David. So as soon as let me see here. Let me move this over here. Let me close this out here and let me get this over here on this side. All right. So let's see, let me move this here. All right, and all right. So right now I'm waiting for David and Jesse to call in. They're gonna go ahead and reset their tablet, and there it is. The phone call is coming in. It's ringing.
This call is now being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel-Link.
Hello. All right, so if you guys are talking right now, I cannot hear you guys saying anything. It looks like your audio might be out right now. So I'll go ahead and let you guys know once I could hear you guys. And right now it's still okay. Cool. You're in. I can hear you guys now. It went out again. So right now it looks like we might be having some technical difficulties with the GTL tablets. We were talking a few moments ago, and it was working mostly for the most part. Towards the end, it started acting out, and the calls were going dark. Hopefully that doesn't keep on happening, and we're able to have a good stream. Let me see. We got a Liceman in here. Let me see. Let me bring this up. Órale, saludos to James, Jesse, and Big David. Yup. So right now we're just waiting. Right before we started, I had them call, and we were talking, and I think we did about 2 calls before it started having some issues. David was gonna go ahead and reset his tablet, and we were hoping that would fix the issue, but it looks like it might have not fixed the issue. So we'll see. We'll wait around for a moment to check if they do come back in. So this is our I'm gonna go ahead and try to get back to the regularly scheduled Sunday 4 p.m. or 4:30 stream, and it doesn't look like we're off to a good start yet. So let me see. I know earlier on when I originally put up the information for the stream, somebody from Amsterdam Trucker West, yo, respect, peace from Amsterdam. That's a trip that he came across the YouTube stream. But if he does come in, or if he plays it back later, hopefully he's able to see or hear that I did recognize his message right there. Anyhow, I'm just waiting for them to call back. If they call back, then you'll hear, or we're waiting for the audio to come back in. Once the audio comes back in, then you will be able to hear them. At this point, it doesn't look like anything's happening. I might just end up cutting the call, and hopefully they call me from one of the other tablets, because they got 2 tablets in the cell. There are cellies, so we'll see what happens. And if you're on the TikTok side, you could see their names and what prison they're currently located at, and their pictures. David would be on the left, Jesse would be on the right, and likewise on the YouTube side, you should be able to see their pictures up on the screen. Chubby Jessica, hey, what's up? How's it going? So right now, It looks like we might be having some technical difficulties with the audio on the GTL side, which should not be any surprise by now. Just with what we dealt with in the past, as far as like the audio going in and out. Chubby Jessica, great to be here. This is my favorite show of all time. Hey, Jessica, man, you're making me blush over here. Anyhow, let me see. Hi, she's saying what's up to Elias, man. All right, they're calling back. Probably from the other tablet. Let's see here.
This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
Okay.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello, hello.
James.
Yeah,
What's up, James?
man.
Hey,
GTL
This tablet, yeah, it's all bad. Garbage tail link?
garbage tail link. You said it. Yep. I could not put it any better.
It is all bad. So, what are we doing? What do we got going on right now?
So right now, we got both right now. We're on YouTube and we're on TikTok. And as a matter of fact, we got a Elias man that tapped in already. He writes, "Órale, saludos
Yeah.
to James, Jesse, and Bake David."
Ice man.
And
Hey,
Ice
did you get
Man.
that message off to him last night?
Yeah, no, I was never able to get it out. So yeah, we just wanted to send ours to him because we'd gotten a card from him yesterday, a little e-card, and because as you know, the messages haven't been able to go out on our tablet. It's been sent doing message fail. But I've been trying to send him a message since yesterday. Apparently the messages are working half-ass all right now. So, but yeah, just so you know, we've received the card, and I tried to send you a message since yesterday, and it wouldn't get out to you. It wouldn't go out to you. So I didn't even try this evening. I tried this morning, but I didn't try this evening. But yeah, it's good to have you,
Yep.
Ice Man, always.
You are in our thoughts, Ice man, and you are in our prayers.
Yep, for sure.
We always appreciate hearing from you. Yeah, so the tablets are jacking up, man. It's not letting us. We can do about one sentence usually, and then sometimes, like earlier, it wouldn't let me send anything out. Sometimes it'll let you send it to one person, but not another.
All right. So
Set the tablet
okay, it cut out.
completely.
But you're good.
um,
You're back.
Right. Yeah. Right now, I had to reset the whole tablet. I had to turn it off, turn it on. When we tried to call a few moments ago. So yeah, it's a headache. But hey, we do this for you guys. But we need this too, though. This is something that Jesse and I do because we like having the connection. We like hearing from that life man, Fish Layer, especially from El Brocha. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Loco.
it's funny because I was in the room for a little bit. I was trying to get everything set up, before we went live, and then I walk out there and I told my wife, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she looks up at me. She was like, "Why are you so happy?" And then I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I leave and I come back and she was like, "Do you have a phone call coming up?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "No wonder you're so happy." And I was like, but she didn't say it like that. She said it another way, and I was like, you know what? Just the way you put it, it just doesn't sound right. It don't sound right at all. And then my phone rang, and then I took off. I was out.
Hey, you know what was funny is that so I'm doing an anthropology class, and there was a problem. It's an anthropology lab. Are you familiar with that, James, at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so it's a course requirement for us to transfer to the university. So you got to do a life science laboratory or physical science. So I'm doing biological anthropology lab right now. That's one of my classes. Inside of there was a problem, and it was a statistics problem, and it was a word problem. It had all kinds of unknown variables and parentheses, exponent. Like I'm a nerd. So when I saw this problem, I looked at it, and it was almost like somebody had just given me a sack of dope. I mean, I'm serious. Like, I looked at this problem, and I was like, oh, my God. And so I was so happy. I was like, I got all my stuff together, and I came into the sale, and I put the problem up. Like, I didn't want to touch it, like I wanted to leave it alone, and I went down into the day room, and I did other things. But in the back of my head, I was excited that I was going to get to solve this problem. And it was only one, and I wanted to do it, like, at the right time. Like, I wanted to come in here and light some candles. Light some candles, put the, board up the window, and solve this problem. That's the kind of nerd that I am. So I don't know if this podcast is like that for you, but that's what schoolwork is for me. Like I love it. I could have probably been a damn freaking rocket scientist if I paid attention when I was younger.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, it definitely this, I mentioned to you guys that, when I was younger, I was involved in vandalism and graffiti and all that stuff, and just doing, when I was involved in things like that, it gave me this feeling of when I would do certain things, like I was accomplishing certain things, but doing this YouTube channel and TikTok feed, it gives me the same feeling. And I when I originally started, I had mentioned to my wife, I was like, man, I haven't felt this good, since I was in my teens, So this definitely, it motivates me. This is something that I do enjoy, and I could do, all day if it was up to me. But fortunately, there's other things that have to get done around the house, and I got a job, and I got a daughter, and I got a bunch of other stuff that take priority over this online thing that I'm doing.
I think we call it a platform, right?
Platform.
What's another this online thing? I just.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
You know how they have like the what do they call it? The Cosa Nostra, this thing of ours. Once I started doing this thing of ours, on this online thing of ours.
Yeah. Is he a friend of yours? Is he a friend of ours?
Yeah.
He's a friend of yours. Is he a friend of ours?
Yep. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Thing of ours. That's funny. Yeah. So I got these Maximinos, and I'm telling you right now, man, these things are crazy. These are because I'm a workout junkie. I like going out there and exercising. I like fitness. And I like steering away from the standard prison fitness, which is basically all just burpees. It just gets boring. It gets monotonous. So me and my little midget next door and my boy Chio, we go out there and we hit it hard. We get her in. So I figured, it's time for me to start taking some supplements. So I got these Maximinos. They're like protein tablets. They're horse pills, man. But I popped 2 of those earlier, and I went to the gym. Oh man, I was flying, James. I was flying out there. I wanted to do everything. I had the ab rollers out. I was doing planks. Hey, what's that sound?
I was opening a window on my screen, and I tapped on the wrong side, so that's why you heard that. Did it blow your eardrums out?
No, it wasn't. It was actually pleasant. Yeah. I want to hear it again. Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to cross over to your end.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks.
Right.
Yeah, so that.
All right. So your phone went dead right now, and when you guys come back, we do have a few questions from Chubby Jessica on the YouTube side. We do a double stream. We do a stream on YouTube, and we also do a stream on TikTok. And I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
We're still out?
No, you guys are back. You guys are back.
So the question, because we could hear you, so that's cool that you got those questions, and ask away.
All right.
Jessica, we got to send a shout out. What's up, Chubby Jessica? We send ours always.
So yeah, when she had originally jumped on, so she jumped on before you guys called. So she had wrote on the chat. She writes, Hello, hi friends. Great to be here. This is my favorite show of all times. And then she writes, "Hi James, thanks for hosting the show." And
Hey, we appreciate her. We appreciate her.
then I'm gonna go ahead. So I had to pull the trigger in. I ended up cutting the feed on TikTok because I was getting messages saying that we were flagged for some type of hate speech or whatnot. So before they banned me, I just went ahead and cut the feed. So right now
What?
we just
I wonder what that was.
yeah. I'm not sure. You know it.
I didn't say anything, did we?
Nah, I don't
I
think
don't
so.
know if you can hear us, James, but we cannot hear you.
Yeah, you went out. You ducked out.
You
Okay.
went dark.
This one's gonna cut us out. Oh, there, get back. I hear you. Okay,
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, I'm
Could
not
you hear
sure.
us?
Nah, yeah, I could hear you guys, so I'm not sure exactly what hate speed what hate speed they're referring to, but there was nothing like that over here or on both sides.
You know what though? I could have said that my midget Felipe.
Maybe. You
think?
know what? I think every time that you guys talk about Felipe, I think that's when we start getting the violations.
Yeah.
That's funny too, because you know what?
Hear hate speech.
He is a little violation wrapped up in a
Yeah,
small
he's
package.
one giant walking violation.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Or should I say one tiny walking?
Yeah, we gotta put a censored sign over him.
Yeah. Walk around with a no smoking sign over his head.
Yeah. No. Hey, that sucks. Hey, are we out again?
No, no, I could hear you guys now.
All right. Well, you know what, TikTok, you don't deserve us.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
You're too soft for us.
Yeah.
Too soft.
Yeah, you're way too woke
Donnie
for us.
over here, what the hell? And I took a power nap.
Yeah, Jesse's over here tired. We've had a long weekend.
You guys been doing all those classes, right? Is it the AVP classes?
It is.
Yeah, we did a 3-day AVP workshop, Alternative to Violence project. It was basically a facilitator training meeting. It's for facilitators only, so it was cool, but just to practice because there's a new book. It's
The manual.
new manual published, and so we're kind of just familiarizing ourselves with the new exercises and some of the new curriculum. A lot of the curriculum, a lot of it's still the same, but they made a few revisions, and so we were just practicing preparing agendas and getting familiar with how we would run the workshops on a regular weekend. So it was cool. I was a little reluctant because it requires the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But once you get in there, the days actually flew by for me once we were in there, you know. But yeah, so it was cool.
And both of you guys do them together, right?
It depends. This time we did. It's a team of facilitators that work those workshops. So this one was all the facilitators on the yard together for the training. But it just depends when Jesse and I get assigned to facilitate the same class. The next one that I'm going to do, Jesse just got his gold certification today, which means that he's like a higher level facilitator, more experience, more training. He's met the requirements of facilitating many workshops. So he celebrated, he got a badass certificate today. And I've been an AVP facilitator for several years, but I don't have as many workshops under my belt. What I did was there's activity groups that are they're sanctioned by the institution. They're called LTAGs. So I was a facilitator for the LTAGs, which is weekly. But here they don't have the LTAGs, but they have workshops. So they have a basic, an advanced, a training for facilitators, and then once you pass, it's called the T4F, the training for facilitators. Once you pass that, you can run the classes with a team of we do about five facilitators will work as a team, and so guys will sign up. and they have a Spanish one also, so we have Spanish facilitators, and we basically run the workshop. We run through all of the exercises and just the coursework. We run it just like if we're running an actual workshop, so that way we can hone in our skills and perfect the exercises. So that's what
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
it's draining because we still go deep in there. We still talk about a lot of traumatic topics and stuff, because even though it's a training, we're still running it as if we're attending a workshop too. And so yeah, it's mentally exhausting. It's how many hours do you think that is, Jess, total?
It's like 22, I believe.
22 hours, yeah. So it's damn near the whole weekend. But it's what it is. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and give you a call back, all right, James?
Okay. All right. Cool. We'll be here. We'll be waiting.
Yep. All right.
All right. So right now, when I get a moment, I'll go ahead and start off and try to read some of these questions here. I did see your question on here from Chubby Jessica, and from Elias Man. So I'll go ahead and ask them that when they call back, and then see what their answers are. Anyhow, today we do have a new video dropping with Joseph from Ironwood. Would be the last visit that we did in El Salvador while we were there. And there they are.
This call is now being
Esta es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello, hello.
Hey, James.
Yep.
Yep. So, yeah, it's crazy about just the time we spend in there, the things that we cover, and it's over before you know it. Me, last night, we went in at 9. We started Friday, and then Saturday morning. We started Friday night. Saturday morning, we got in there around 9 o'clock in the morning, and we were out of there at 8 o'clock. Or no, about 7.
We start on Friday at 3 to 7.
It was early, huh? It was around 3, huh?
So you start from
That's
Friday,
right.
Friday from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
It was 4 hours. That's why it felt that long.
Yeah, and then Saturday it's technically from 8:30 to 7 o'clock. And then if you're a facilitator, you stay back till 8 o'clock usually. And then on Sunday it's from 8:30 to well, technically it's supposed to be 8:30, but you don't get out there till about 9. So till about 12, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, Jesse. Okay, so we went out to yard, Jesse and I, because we just had to move around. We were sitting for a long time, and so we went out to yard after the workshop got out at 7 o'clock. They opened yard at 7:30, so we stayed out there till 9. And I'm gonna tell you right now, look, Felipe, my boy Chio, and myself, we have probably one of the most vicious workout crews on the yard. Like we do some shit. We really we push ourselves physically, but we do it in a safe way. But we do, and a lot of people come and they try to do our workouts here and there, and we get some guys who will come 2 or 3 times, and they fall off. They're not gonna. They're like, oh yeah, fuck this. So
I can't consistently put my body through this.
yeah, they're like, I'm not gonna do this shit. Like
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
everybody's used to us doing it. They just leave us to our own devices. Every once in a while, when someone wants to challenge herself, they'll get into one of our one of our workouts, and that's what it is. But last night, Jesse got in with us. He got in with me and Chio, and Chio's a beast, man. And I was surprised because we're tired from doing that workshop, and Jesse did it, man. He went in there and
tricked me. They
we
tricked me. They were like, hey, we got some honey buns over here.
we tricked them. We're like, look, you do 10 of these, you do 10 sets.
Yeah, you do 10 sets, and we're going to give you some zingers. I was like, oh, okay.
That was it. Hey, he was dying. But one thing I know about Jesse is he's stubborn. And so he did it. Once he started it, we knew we had him. He was it. He wrote it out. And yeah, so we felt that one. But I went into the gym today after the workshop got out in the afternoon and played some basketball and ran around in there, But what I want to do, James, is soon I want to introduce the listeners to D-Boy the artist.
Okay.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm here. I
Okay, I
just
want to make sure you're there.
I've been putting it on mute, so you guys, if somebody walks in, then you guys don't hear it. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to to speaking with him and bringing him on, D-Boy the artist, and I'm definitely excited.
Yep.
I know you said you had mentioned to me about a little bit over 2 months ago that you knew somebody that was a phenomenal artist, and that
Yep.
he blows a lot of other artists in prison out the water. So he's I'm assuming a rarity in prison.
Well, there's a lot of good artists in prison. It's not necessarily a rarity, but he is unique in his skill.
And he's definitely in the upper echelon.
He's in the upper echelons. Yeah, you see like.
Super sick artist in prison.
Yeah, between Jesse and I, we've seen some crazy art. Like honestly, there's a guy who's doing murals on these walls out here on our yard, and he's painting them, and they're in color, and there's some crazy looking murals, man. They got ships. We have ships that are like going to the sea, which is a dedication to probably the Pacific, the South Pacific in World War II.
To the Navy.
Yeah, for the Navy. Yeah, he's got that. We got I'm telling you, these are all in color. Our whole inner perimeter wall along our yard is covered from left to right in murals. He did Mount Rushmore. The faces are like, they look like portraits of the presidents. He's got a picture of like the valley out here with the field. Like you could see it looks like the grass is moving in the wind. Yeah, he's definitely
Got some Space Force stuff.
yeah. We have a dude, a astronaut standing on the moon, looking at Earth. And it looks like you're there. It looks like they're windows for us. Which, I went up and told him a bunch of times, how much I appreciate him doing this, because I look at those murals a lot. One thing that we see on this yard when we walk around, we see the fence, we see the walls, the barbed wire. It's just everything's gray. All the walls are always gray or white or some prison off color. And looking at these murals, these colorful murals, it looks like you're there. It's crazy. It's so vivid, They got him some pretty nice paint, and he hooked it up, man. So D-Boy is an artist like that, where it's basically, all right, well, you got it. There's people that are good. There's people that get by and art's their hustle, and then there's just like, all right, well, this dude should be in a freaking gallery. Like he's good. So I think that in comparison to artists out there in society, he can hang with them. He can hang with them for sure. There is, I see a, I don't know if I want to call it a Chicano vibe to his art, but he's Hispanic. I don't know what his nationality is. Like James, I would have assumed that you were Mexican, but because we resemble each other, but you're actually Salvadorian and Puerto Rican. So I don't want to say, well, he's a Mexican artist, because honestly, he could be from El Salvador, he could be from Guatemala. You don't know. So I don't want to make that assumption. Do you know what he is, Jeff? What is he?
He's Mexican.
Is he? Yeah, but he's a real quiet dude. Stays to himself. He has, what's interesting, he's like a zoo. Like he's a person that the officers will go in his cell and come out with a snake. Yeah.
He's running a freaking aquarium.
Yep. Every time they hit his cell, they come out with like a little
Some kind of wildlife.
every single time. And you guys gotta ask him about this. I'm serious. Like they took like he had like a walking horse box that he put plastic over it, and there was scorpions in there walking around, and they made him go release the scorpions, and he was all sad. He got it to where he can hold the scorpion, and he was like petting it. Yeah,
Tripping.
one of these
Little
days.
snake was the best one though.
Yeah.
Another one.
Does
He's
he?
already got another one. Yeah, he's already got
Yeah,
another.
there's a lot of snakes here. There's a lot of wildlife, a lot of snakes. So, yeah, he ends up with them. And they'll get them too. They'll walk in there, they'll fit a cell and come out with some sort of animal.
And he'll find another one. He'll buy another one from somebody.
Hey, did we talk to you, James, about a bat that we had?
Bat?
Felipe? Yeah, we had a bat.
Nah, you didn't.
What the?
Okay, so Jesse, man, I don't know what it is, but Jesse could sense. He could sense when something's wrong, right? Like, and he could sense trouble. And so he's sitting on his bunk, and he just gets up out of nowhere, looks out the door, looks around, and he's like, a bat just fell from the ceiling, out of the day room, right? And it's far down there, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, a bat just fell from the ceiling. And he's staring at it. He's like, you don't see it? And I look, right, and there's like a little tiny, like, black circle on the floor under a table in the den room. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, Jesse, that doesn't look like a bat, dude. It's probably like a cop's glove. He goes, no, it's going to move right now. It's a bat, and it fell from the ceiling. What the hell? It's so, sure enough, it started moving, right? So we call Derrick, the one that calls into you.
Yeah.
Derrick? Bird? Yeah, Bird, yeah. So we call him, because he works out there as a porter, and tell him, hey, get that, that's a bat. So he freaking scoops it up, puts it in a bag, and it's in the cell. So me, since I'm an experienced handler of wildlife, you know, I know that sometimes I mean, I'm looking at Jesse like, all right, so what are your credentials? Well, I know Jesse's an attorney. He might be a doctor. Yeah, so we go down to our credentials, right? And me, I say, all right, well, I'm a wildlife expert. So I know that bats might carry rabies. You know, it's a possibility. So I don't want to touch the bat, but I do want to, like, take a good look at it. I need to absorb this. You know, how many times do you have a bat in your cell, you know? So I get these gloves, right? Because any wildlife handler knows that you have to handle wildlife with gloves, right? Isn't that, you know, what we see on TV? If I'm going to call myself a wildlife handler, the crocodile hunter, I have to have wildlife gloves on.
Yeah.
So I get my workout gloves. I got these things on, right? And I know that, you know, I'm honestly in the back of my head, I'm scared that the thing's just going to come to life and just freaking fly and sink its fangs into my forehead. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're staying up all night, you're sucking blood out of people's necks.
The only time I've ever seen a bat was in, what, Dracula? Count Chocula?
Yeah, my cereal when I was growing up.
What about Blackula?
Yep, Blackula.
You know, those are all, yeah, bats are associated with vampires, blood-sucking. Like, I don't know no fruit bats. I've never seen no soft bat like that, you know? I'm not interested in that on TV. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this thing has the potential to bite the crap out of me and fly all crazy until, you know, rabbit in a corner kind of thing. So I got this bat, right? And I put it in the storage bin, in a little storage bin, and now me and Jesse are just looking at it, right? It's on the floor. We're both looking at it. Like, we got one of them prison squats going on, you know, we're just staring at it. And then it starts to walk around, and I'm tripping out that the bat's walking around on its wings. You know, it's like it's cruising around, and its wings are its feet. Like, its legs are also wings. It's crazy. So we're just tripping out on it, man. And this thing's like, we put a little bit of stuff on it, like a little sheet or something. It's like we have like a little piece of felt or something. It's like a little green cloth. So the bat's cruising around on this, you know, and it looks injured. It did fall from the ceiling. The ceilings are pretty high, but I don't see no visible injuries. Like, I am a vet, so Jesse and I are veterinarians. So we did a thorough inspection of the bat and deemed it healthy.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
What was your diagnosis, Vet Jess?
Diagnosis was everything was A-okay.
Dinged up, possibly scared?
Yeah, dinged up, possibly scared, maybe a little malnourished, but overall, good health.
So, yeah. So, we're looking at it. It's not really doing much. Like, I don't know what did we expect from that bat, Jess? In the perfect situation scenario with this bat, what happens?
he starts flying around the cell. We could just trip on him.
That's the type of imbecile behavior that we have. we were hoping that this bat was healthy and it was going to just take off flying in the cell. What would we have done, Jesse?
I would have started screaming, just jumped behind you.
we wanted this bat to fly around our cell so bad that we left the lid open. We left the lid open at night and we turned the lights off because we thought that the night would activate the bat.
Yeah, because he was just kicking and he wasn't doing anything. It didn't seem like he had a lot of life in him, but we know he's going because he's using the restroom. He's moving around.
He's shitting.
Yeah, he's shitting on the felt.
Shitting all over the felt.
Yeah, so like we know he's up and moving, and like if you like poke him or you nudge him or you like get in front of him or something like that, he'll give you like a little, and he'll like stick his fangs at you and stuff. But he wasn't active. He was just kind of like, just leave me alone and I'll leave you guys alone. Ain't nobody. But we figured, all right, because somebody was like, oh, they had bats in Ironwood, that some fool had one in his cell. He used to fly around in the night when he was sleeping. So we're like, all right, cool, let's leave him up there, see if...
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Let's be real here. That's what we wanted to happen.
Absolutely.
We wanted this bat to wake up and activate in the middle of the night, and we wanted to wake up with this thing flying around our cell, knowing damn well that we're not equipped to deal with something like that. We would have
slept with my gloves on.
We would have freaked.
I would have slept with the gloves on, so that way if he got out of line or I woke up with him hooked to my neck, pulled him off, he would have sank his fangs into my throat. You know?
We even put him in the highest place of the cell that we have, so that he could get some, so he can get some wing time.
Yeah, in case he decides to base jump. I think it's gonna hang up right now.
James, we're gonna call back or no?
All right, I'm ready to hear more about this bat here.
All right.
And last minute, so you asked me, be honest, James, do you believe Derrick Snowden, David Snowden's innocence? And you know what? I'll probably be the worst person to have on a jury, when it comes to figuring out if people are innocent or guilty or whatnot. But I will say this, that from what I've read, there is like I would say a lot of the stuff that they picked up was circumstantial. There is no direct tie, if you will.
This call is now being
Este
recorded.
es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
James.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this thing's out. This thing's up in an open little storage bin at the highest point of the cell. Like we have some like coffee creamers and stuff like that on the top locker, and they go all the way to the ceiling. So we put this storage bin on top of that. So it has like, if it reaches, it's where it wants to go and it's ready to fly, it'll have some like place to dip around, and then you know how you see the Halloween movies and the bats flying around, and it's just kind of like...
He looked like a baby, and I've seen bat documentaries where half the bats leave the cave and the other ones fall because they don't know how to fly, and I was assuming...
Yeah, we are nature historians. Like, we do know.
Yeah.
It's the bat story.
Yeah, so we're assuming that he fell off the roof, because I literally walked up to the window and seen him. I assumed that he fell off the roof because he was flying the coop and realized he couldn't fly, and he fell to the ground. And so... we're like, all right, let's put him up there and give him another shot at trying to, lift off and see what happens. Because he, like I said, he was alive. He wasn't dead or anything. He was just cruising around the bin. But I'm thinking, what? Maybe he just can't fly. He's one of them bats that turned out, that he couldn't fly, and now he's reserved himself to the ground for the rest of his life. But we're gonna put him up here and let him try to fly out And I'm assuming that maybe, like, after the fact, after what ended up happening, Dave can finish telling you the story, but what I'm thinking happened is he caught word out there in the community how good the lizards and the snakes and everything else live right here, because all these dudes around here got some kind of wildlife in their cell, all these boxes around the building. So I'm assuming that, they're testing the word around the wildlife, and the bat caught wind, like, what, I can go inside the building and they can feed me?
It's like slipping in the supermarket, huh? It just threw itself to the ground, huh?
Yeah,
Like,
threw itself-
I'm hurt.
Yeah, I'm hurt. Like, he picks me up. These guys are going to hunt for me. And these guys get lizards and snakes, and they go out to the yard, and they actually hunt for these animals.
You mean D-Boy?
Yeah, D-Boy. Like, D-Boy is an example. You know what I mean? Like, he's feeding the lizards so that the lizards can get fat, and then he feeds the lizards to the snakes. It's like the whole circle of life. And they're out there doing all the work, so these wildlife don't have to do anything. They're just sitting in the cell in a bin in a little aquarium. They come out and hang out with whoever owns them for a while. Like, these guys come out the day room with lizards on their shoulder, lizards walking, like, and I'm thinking, this is the only thing that I could come up with is the bat was like, you know what, he got a wheeler, one of his lizard homies was like, hey, you might want to try to get inside one of these buildings. These dudes are really taking care of us. We don't have to be out here in the heat. We could actually be in an air-conditioned cell. They give you water. They give you food, and you could just kick back,
I think if it didn't eat for another day or two, I would have hung it upside down and let it eat an apple out of my mouth. Hey. I would have grabbed it by its little bat feet, and just let it hang from my finger, from like my little pinky finger, and just let it eat and do what you do,
Like, that's pretty much. What did we put in there? We put celery, or we put
a little apple in there. Like, and the apple thing was, I did break up the apple. I broke up the apple a little bit, and then I put it in some water. You know what I mean?
Put it in there, like you
just split it right in front of its nose, and it would just it would sniff a little bit, and it would squeal a little bit, and then it sounded not interested. That bat was a diva.
Yeah,
and it would just say it's also got.
He's like, I want rice bowl, not apple.
Hey, his wings are like little blankets too, huh? It's just kind of just cruise around, wraps itself up, and it was just chilling. And it would move a couple inches a day. Only when it took a crap, it would take a big old crap, and then it would move forward a little bit. You know what I mean? And just so we had a little smear of shit on the felt. We're like, man, this little thing's doing something. It's eating something.
It ate something before it came here.
Yeah, and I was like, man, and me, I'm thinking, scientist days, I'm thinking, well, there's probably some sort of disease in that guano.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't handle the felt anymore.
And also, I want to put this out there. So, him being scientist Dave and me being hustler Jesse.
Yeah.
As soon as I got the bat, first thing. I was like, all right, as soon as I took it out the day,
you put it on the market.
I put it on the market. First thing I did was
you just fucking put it on the market.
Yeah.
So man, we could get $20 for this piece of freaking this bat right now.
This bat, yeah. So I took it out to the day room, and I'm like, everybody's like, oh man, that's badass, because nobody's had a bat here. I've seen all kinds of wildlife right here, and nobody's had a bat. So people are coming up like, hey, you're gonna sell that? I want first dibs at. So I'm like, well, because Dave was gone to work. So I was like, wait till my Shelly gets back. Let me make sure what he wants to do with it. I don't know, because we were still considering giving it to D-Boy so D-Boy could feed it to the snake.
Let's get into that. Yeah, okay. So let's talk about that, because I did want to bring that up before we get into this whole other thing, right? Obviously we don't have the bat anymore, so things did take a turn, but so. Right off the bat, it's not moving much, right? It's not moving much, and right off the bat, Jesse,
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Jesse's like, we gotta feed it to the snake, man. Give it to D-Boy. Let's feed it to a snake. The snake's probably hungry. It's a circle of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can't let his life be in vain.
Yeah, we can't let this thing die in vain right now. If you let it go too long, it's gonna die out, and the snake won't eat a carcass. So it's gotta be live. It's gotta be,
You try to make a run for it so the snake can chase it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, man, I just don't got the heart to feed this little guy to this. It's probably a grandfather too. This bat, we made a determination based on our experience of knowing sexual maturity in bats. That it was a baby bat. but this thing was probably at the end of its lifespan anyway. It probably fell out of the freaking ceiling because it was dying of old age.
We'll assume it was a baby bat.
It's a baby bat, but their entire species is about that size, Yeah, we were calling it by a scientific name. You know what was the name of it again? Like freaking, I don't know. We had somebody look up on the tablet, and he had pictures of bats, and it was a what was it called? It was called
one of the original buyers.
Yeah, one of the buyers. So
he actually took custody of it for. Oh yeah, no, that's who got it. That's the one.
Who?
Redneck. Redneck's the one that got it.
What do you mean?
That's who we sold it to. Remember it took off
yeah.
the
So the sale. We have to get into the sale. The sale's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
so
we decided D-Boy wanted to buy it. We decided that we weren't going to feed it after a couple of days in our custody, we decided that feeding it to the snake was probably kind of inhumane. So plus D-Boy was like, I don't think the snake will eat it.
Yeah.
And so
this is the thing. Okay, let me tell you why I didn't want to feed it to the snake. Let me cut in on a little sidebar. I had a python when I was younger. I had a python, James. The first time that I realized that I had to, where I stood there and I witnessed that I had to feed this cute little mouse with the red eyes to this snake, right? I was like, all right, it's what it is. It's a feeder mice. I drop it in the bathtub. I do it right, never feed the snake in the tank, and I put it in the bathtub and cover the drain, and I let the little mouse go, and it's cruising around, sniffing around, and when the snake took that freaking mouse's life, that thing screamed bloody murder. It yelled, squealed, like, fucking the snake wrapped it around, and fucking I seen its little red eyes popping out of its skull. I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like, this little motherfucker finds food, what I'm saying? Like, I let it go. I let that snake go. I was like, you know what, you survived, you do what you do, snake, but...
That's not going to be on my watch.
It's not going to be on my...
committing any mice murders on my watch.
Yeah, like that little thing, that was a vicious, heinous crime, right? And so, anyway, so I have that in mind. I'm thinking this little mouse, this little bat's going to squeal, when the snake gets it. And,
especially when we heard it squealing, because a couple of times when you reached out to it, it yelled at you.
It was yelling at me, like, hey, get the fuck off me,
Yeah.
So, anyway, I figure that I have to go and advertise the product. So I bring the bat to the day room. Secretly in my mind, I'm hoping that the thing just takes flight. It doesn't. So there's a guy here named Redneck, and I'm not saying anything negative to the rednecks of the world or anything like that. Like, this guy specifically goes by that handle. That's his AKA, also known as Redneck. Now, this guy,
the bell.
Yeah, well, the thing is I know some quality rednecks. Like, these guys are beer drinking. They got the Coors sign tatted on them, and they're cool dudes, man. They're into their Chevys, and they advertise they're rednecks. And hey, that's their lifestyle. They got the lifted truck and the big old things, the lights above it. And when you ask them, hey man, what's up? And they're like, oh yeah, what's up, man? I'm a redneck and boom. And those guys are cool. That's a lifestyle, just like anything else. I'm a biker. I'm a veterinarian. These guys are rednecks. This guy who calls himself redneck,
I'm a fitness inspector,
is more like it's hard to explain this guy. This guy is a stone cold scumbag. This guy, James, is a piece of fucking work.
Bonafide.
Yeah, he's somebody where it's like, man, yeah, he's a bona fide scumbag. Like, he just is. He just reeks of just vile scumbag behavior. So he's the kind of guy that'll steal a jar of coffee off somebody's door.
Literally.
And turn around and bring it right to the freaking Connect. And not even the drug Connect. Like, he'll try to, buy some pills with it. Yeah, so he's just one of those guys. So, and not good pills either. He'll probably try to snort Motrin or something. So, remember when he was picking up the spray, the poison, and putting it on paper? Did you hear he did that?
No.
That they walked around and sprayed for bugs, and they were spraying for bugs for the ants or whatever they have, and he was walking around with a piece of paper and was smearing the thing on the paper so he could smoke it.
What the hell?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
That man's committed.
He's committed to his freaking scumbag, junky behavior.
That man has pesticides in his brain.
That's what he was freaking doing, man. He'd roll it up in some freaking grass. Probably roll some grass up in that paper, some grass in the yard. Yeah, so anyway. So, Redneck has a little bit of money. So, he's the type of guy that'll probably sell his mother for that bat. So we figured, you know what? We'll probably get
he was
$20.
one of the first ones who was like, come on, man, I'll give you.
Yeah, sell it to me, and I'll do this and that. He's the kind of guy, like, you don't want him owing you. because he'll probably go and, say something that's not true to the cops and get you rolled out of here so he doesn't got to pay. So he's the kind of guy, like, if, he comes and you do, like, business with this guy, you want to do it right there. Bat for coffee jar.
Bat for coffee jar, and I want to know where you got the coffee jar. I don't want no stolen.
There'll be somebody coming right after you, like, hey, I stole that jar off my store. So, for some reason, we decided to sell this bat to Redneck. So, Redneck gets his bat. The deal is done. He's walking around the day room with a bat hooked on his shirt. Like, it's just, he's handling it bare hands. Like, he's like, I don't care. He said he's had rabies before. Remember? Remember he said that, and he already had rabies. The process is not as bad, so a lot of shots, but, hey, this guy will smoke pesticides. So this idiot's walking, this idiot's...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
This idiot's walking around the day room with his bat on his shirt, right? Full wingspan, like he's got it open and it's just hooked to his shirt. And it's not flying away. So he walks up to the officers and shows the officers his bat. The officers aren't really paying attention to him, and we all knew when they were. Because they were like, hey, what? Hey, get that the fuck out of the building. What's the matter with you? Go take it out of the building right now. Get it out of here. And the officer gets up and just reprimands him, right? And then he freaking takes it out of the building and he puts it on the fence, and the bat flies away like it's freaking, like it's perfectly healthy. The thing,
he was running a hustle the whole time.
Yeah, full daylight. Like, honestly, me and Jesse talked and said, look, if this dude Redneck doesn't buy this bat, we're going to go and take it out at night yard and release it. We're like, fuck it, we can't have a bat in sale.
We're not responsible enough to take custody of this bat for the long term.
We're not. And the thing is, okay, so what were we going to do with this bat? Like, honestly.
We were going to go get food and feed it.
We would have fed it here and there, but optimal Jess, situation with this bat, right, is what? It flies around the cell in the middle of the night. Why did we want that bat to fly around the cell in the middle of the night? What were we hoping to accomplish? Could you imagine what that would have been like?
It would have been terrifying, absolutely.
If that thing would have flew, like it flew off that fence, it was fully capable of flying.
The whole time.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
It was
probably thinking, these guys are some real live idiots.
It was rubbing shit all over freaking the felt.
Yeah, he's like, these guys are going to let me shit on this nice felt? They're going to feed me apples? Like, man, this is more than the lizards told me it would be. I don't know why I didn't come in the building sooner. Once they took him outside, he was like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
They sent Redneck.
Calipat's down the road. I'm going to go see what they got at Calipat.
They sent this idiot to freaking medical. The officers immediately made him report to medical for a rabies evaluation. Me and Jesse were like, hey, I don't know nothing about that bat.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that.
I don't deal with the life.
Like, who else had the bat?
Yeah, who else handled this bat? Hey, honestly, I don't know. Maybe it was a non-professional, but...
Yeah.
It's about to hang up.
Yeah, I don't know what amateur wrangler handled this bat, but...
All right, so we hit that 15-minute mark. They should be calling back shortly, and once they call back, I think my audio might be a little bit too loud, so I'm adjust it just a tad bit, so I'm not hitting the red. Anyhow, so back to the question that Eliasman asked me if I think he's innocent. Man, I don't know. I don't know. I've gone over the paperwork, and there we are.
This call is now being
Esta
recorded.
es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Right, so before we move on, I remembered that Chubby Jessica had some questions, and Chubby Jessica is one of the regular listeners, and she has showed us a lot of support, and so I want to make sure that she knows that we're not, we didn't forget about her. The backstory was something that we just felt like the world needed to know. Like, this is
bad experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So we haven't forgot about you, Chubby Jessica, and that's what it is. So I want to before we get into that though, this whole thing ties into D-Boy. Look, it just does because D-Boy is the Wrangler. Oh yeah, keep in mind. Let me tell you about Redneck, right? Tell you about Redneck, the rattlesnake. Did I tell you about the rattlesnake, James?
No.
All right, so there's rattlesnakes all over this fucking prison. Right, they're around, and I hadn't seen one since I'd been here, but we were all over there by the handball court one day, and a rattlesnake just came right out of nowhere, came right off for the gate and cruised right up to the guys that were drawing. They were doing some like mural thing out there on the yard, and rattlesnake it was a little one though, and that little thing was a vicious little motherfucker.
Sidewinder, baby sidewinder.
Yeah, that thing was vicious. So it just started, man, I had never seen a rattlesnake at all. I just grew up in the city, been in prisons, for a long time since I was younger. I just had never crossed paths with a rattlesnake that was out in the wild. And so this thing cruised right up to everybody, a big old group of people, and just started freaking snapping at people. And the yard goes over there, we're all there. I call Jesse over, and we're standing there. And there's guys like messing with it with their hat, like putting their hat.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
That thing's shooting venom and striking, and I was like, damn, that little sucker was vicious. So we just, it kind of goes, the cops start telling people to stop grouping and get out of the way, and just, they're yelling on the speaker. They didn't go over there. They're just telling everybody to go. So everybody kind of disperses, right? So about 15 minutes later, here comes Redneck holding the rattlesnake. He's got this freaking thing like he's
hat.
Yeah, it's in his hat. The thing's just worn the hell out. And he ended up, they call some wildlife guy that they have. I guess he's here to deal with like dangerous animals on the yard or stuff like that. Cause
fishing game warden.
Yeah, they have like a fishing game warden guy that was here, and I guess he's assigned to the prison. So they call the guy, and the guy's like, "Hey, where's the rattlesnake?" And freaking Redneck just comes walking up, holding it, by the tail, drops it in the bucket. All right, did your job for you, man. You have a nice day. And that was that.
He was tripping.
Yeah.
Redneck, he was tripping because I think he kept snapping at Redneck's hat and doing all kinds of shit before he caught it.
Well, yeah, it's a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
And those are the most dangerous because they don't understand how much venom there is.
Yeah, there was so much venom on that hat, like it was smeared all over, and it was just crazy. But not as much as our bat's guano, but it was definitely a lot. So anyway, D-Boy, right? He's an interesting guy, James, but he's very reserved. That's why the name that I thought when I was thinking about this guy, I was thinking of like the silent artist. He doesn't talk much. He just doesn't. I talk to him, and he's got a cool little conversation. He's smart. He's enrolled in San Diego State University, and he does struggle, man. He struggles with things sometimes, But I think that his story, his message, could be his story is his art. It's in his art, and I think with the right type of artist, which is him, he's. I told him, look, he can capture his story in his art. I've had conversations with him. He's like, well, what kind of art should I put out there? I says, put your message out there, put your story out there. Some of us speak through our actions. Some of us speak through our hobbies or whatnot, whatever they are. But I told him, look, he has a gift. He has a way of telling a story through his art. So he's been working a lot of some art to get to you, James. So we should have plenty of art to give you. soon, this month, I guess in like another about 2 weeks or so.
About a week and a half.
Yeah, about a week and a half.
Like the 15th. No, matter of fact.
10 days.
Oh wait, I think
Yeah,
10 days.
yeah.
10 days, yeah.
He said he'll be ready with the art, you know. And
Okay.
so I want him to, yeah. And I think this is an excellent platform because this is our artist that you have a collect call from. This is something that he's doing specifically for us, but he is utilizing our platform to put his work out there and to deliver his message. And I would love for you to help him do that, James. I would.
You know what?
He is.
And I'm honored that you thought about me when you noticed his art and you thought that it would be a good idea, for him to come on. And I can't wait to lay my eyes on that artwork and post some of it right here on the back and bring him on, and so he could give us some his journey and how he got into art and whatever he could share with us here on You Have a Collect Call From.
Are you gonna be able to guide him? I know you will, but you have an idea how you're gonna do it, just to kind of tell the story.
Yeah. I'm sure. We'll get we'll get through it. It's almost been a year since I started doing this, and I feel I've gotten better, at asking questions and guiding people. So
Yeah, that's cool.
So we
And
should.
so I wanted to do like an intro. So I would love for you to try to plan it out sooner than because in 10 days we can have some stuff ready for you.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that I would like to try to plan something, even if it's for short sessions. If you can try to work that in.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely. We could probably even do. We can probably even start tomorrow. The only thing is, my app is down. I don't know if you could have him give me a call so we could talk.
Yeah.
And then figure out what his schedule is, and we could go ahead and base it around what works for him and for myself, and
That's cool. Yeah.
we'll bring him on sooner than later.
Yeah, he's a lifer. I know he's a lifer. He's here for a 187. Yeah. I thought he was LWAP too. Yeah, life South Peru. So he's got a story, man, and it's you hear Jesse and I, and we're still considered we're considered lifers, because of our.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
That term doesn't really mean the same anymore for us like it did before, because they're giving people with life sentences an opportunity to go to board. Jesse and I have that opportunity, but it's crazy to talk about that and think like, man, like this is a person that was silenced. He's silenced for good, and so he could speak through these platforms and through this podcast, which is amazing and it's unique because he doesn't have a digital presence at all. Also, he says he didn't do it, James.
Oh, all right.
He's like, oh.
Another innocent murderer.
Oh. And the thing is, it's like, okay, so do you devalue what he's saying based on what? We know Derrick, right? Derrick says he didn't do it either. Jesse and I says we did. We did it. Yeah, there's people that, and I can't say, because I wasn't there, I can't say, well, he's not taking responsibility and whoop, and can't say that. Because what do I know? How can I say, well, this man's guilty because he's in prison, and everybody says they're innocent, right? What about Derrick? Same concept, same, different situation, different body, but so I wanted you to kind of have an idea, and this turned out to be, this was coincidental, when I was talking to him about his art, and maybe collaborating with him, his case, I talked to him about that afterwards because I wanted to know what he's here for. You know, why do you have LWAP? Why do you got so much time? So he got into this story, this scenario, and I was like, damn, this is another dude right here says he didn't do it. You know, and it's like, man. So
Never met so many innocent people in my life.
yeah, not in prison.
You know what? And you know, growing up and coming into contact with probably some of the most corrupt police officers in the nation. I grew up in the Rampart area, and some of the stuff that I seen them do to people, um, it's scandalous. It's scandalous. And then if you would tell somebody what you've seen them do, they wouldn't believe it because the cops, they're good guys. You know, they don't do those type of things. You know, why would they frame somebody or why would they put charges on an innocent person? But
Yeah.
you know, when you see things like that happen, it gives you a different perspective.
Well, one thing about his situation, right, and a lot of other people's, is I don't believe that they were framed by law enforcement.
Okay.
A lot of these guys that say they're innocent, I don't think that. I just don't think that law enforcement did that. Now, look, they get a one-track mind. No, Rampart was. I'm talking about specifically with Debo and Derrick, and even a lot of other guys here. It's not. Your situation with Rampart, anybody that's from the LA area or even Southern California or now, like we all know about Rampart.
Yeah.
Like we all know that. Like that was straight up framing corruption, throwing cases, and it was just like, yeah, that was crazy shit. But it does happen in the country, and it did happen at that time in LA. Now, with these individuals, it was more like the people that were involved with it were putting them linked to the crime. Hey, our door's open right now, James. I need you to hold it for us for a second.
Okay.
We gotta go grab our train real quick.
For sure. Handle.
We'll be back in about 3 minutes. All right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool. All right. All right. So Jesse and David are stepping away right now. They are. It's mealtime right now. They had given me a heads up prior to us going live that they were gonna step away to grab their food at about 5:30 or so. So that's what's happening right now. They're going to grab their trays, and once they come back, then they'll go ahead and resume. But so I'm gonna go ahead and get back to the question that Iceman, because I didn't give him a clear answer, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's innocent or guilty. I don't know. There's just a lot of questions. So like some of those questions that I would have would be, why did it take the cops, over what was it? I don't know, like 10 years for them to come back and retrieve the weapons, and then also when his sister, or I don't even know, I want to word this correctly. So the witnesses, or one of the witnesses, said they saw African American young lady walking with some type of uniform.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
And it turned out that Derrick's father was a police officer, and by that time, I think when the murders had happened.
All right, we're back, James.
Okay, all right, cool.
All right, what you got for us?
All right,
How long was that?
It wasn't that long. It was maybe like a minute or two.
That's cool.
So earlier on, Eliasman had a question for me. He had asked me, let me see. No, that wasn't it right there. And he had asked me, let me see. He says, to be honest, James, do you believe Derrick Snowden's innocent? And I was saying,
good question.
And I don't know. Like I really don't know. I mean, I could say that they don't have a smoking gun. They don't have like any of his forensic. He didn't leave any forensic details behind. Like fingerprints or or blood, or he didn't confess to it, and there's no witnesses. Like there's nobody that could put him at the scene of the crime. Yeah, they grabbed the weapon, and the weapon, his dad's service revolver, matched the bullets that were found in the victims, but nobody could put him at the scene, walking into the house or anything like that. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the 14-year-old sister did it. I just like I if they would put me on a jury, I don't think I would be able to choose, guilt or innocence.
This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
James.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know the 60 seconds had happened because I was out.
Yeah.
So you answered that question, and I wish I got to hear more of it.
So I don't know, like it's hard, so they don't have anything, like he never confessed to it. He the weapon that they retrieved was his dad's service weapon when he was a sheriff's officer or a sheriff's deputy. They didn't retrieve the weapon till 10 years after, or sometime after the crime happened. Somebody saw a young lady, with a police officer uniform, walking in that area that normally somebody from that area wouldn't walk through. The dad had old uniforms that the mom burned after the dad passed away, and then so I don't know if he did it or not. It's I would say there's just a lot of questions that I don't think will ever get answered. And Eliasman asked me right now. He said, do you think the 14-year-old sister did it? I don't know. Like what kind of what kind of
Man, that's a hard question.
yeah. So it's
He's not
like,
even beating around the bush at all.
no, he's not. He's not.
You think his sister did it? That was 14.
But it's
Man.
to me, like, so thinking about a young teenage girl living in Carson, do I think she's gonna go pick up a 357, which is like, that's the Dirty Harry, gun. That thing is like a
pretty big
freaking
gun.
cannon. It's a pretty big gun, yeah. So
Yeah.
is she gonna walk over to the neighbor's
That's
house?
the first gun I ever fired.
Oh, okay.
You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
First gun I ever shot. Hey, matter of fact, I shot that gun off for the first time at 13 years old.
13?
And let me tell you this.
Yeah.
I was 13. Yeah. And I might have had little girl wrists at that time. No, but I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this. Before you answer that question, I fired off a 357 at 13 years old, and I know it because I was still living in La Puente.
Mm-hmm.
And I held that gun between my hand, like with both hands, and I did like a 3-point stance. And I just let off right in the hood right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit was crazy. There was no accuracy to the shot. It just flew wherever. I wasn't trying to shoot nobody. I was just shooting at I was shooting at, like, I was in the hood, but I was shooting towards like a hill,
Mm-hmm.
And so that I could not control that gun, James. That gun was like, so you think if that's what they used, I don't know what kind of gun was used. 357. So you're saying they used a 357.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, how's little mama going to get a 357 and shoot 2 people with it?
Yeah. And then, what reason would she have to let two of her neighbors have it at 14 years old? So,
But you ask those questions, right? The
Yeah.
thing is, though, is all those questions that are asked, right,
Mhm.
are talking about her culpability or her reasons and whatnot, right?
Mhm.
But does that mean that her brother did it? Does that mean that maybe she had somebody with her? Is there other options?
yeah.
Is there anything else? But and that's for her trial.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact of the matter is, though, the fact of the matter is that enough to put somebody away for the rest of their life? You got enough. You got enough. You know, and so that's the part that always troubled me. It's like, okay, well, if there's so many unanswered questions, what do you have that's not circumstantial? Because all the things that you say right now were circumstantial.
That's correct.
Can a 13-year-old girl shoot something like that? Can this happen? Or it must have been him, right? Because of the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm talking about to take somebody out of society for the rest of their life. You know, that's a pretty serious thing to do. So you better make sure you got the right person. And how do you know? Well, I just know. Couldn't have been anybody else. Who the fuck else could it have been? You know, he had every freaking reason in the book or freaking whoop, and you know. But okay, so that sounds like a theory, which makes sense. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But I need something of substance. That's what this country's built on, right? Giving people the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
reasonable doubt, anything else. And before you take somebody's freedom, you need to know for sure that it's the right person. And if you have unanswered questions without any type of physical evidence,
The reality is they don't have enough to convict her or him.
that's what I'm thinking.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the truth about it. I think she did it. I think her and somebody else may have done it, but they didn't have enough evidence on either one of them.
Now, I'm actually curious to see, because D-Boy talked to me about his story,
Mm-hmm.
and it made sense. You know, he says he knows who did it. Made sense. Now, I don't want to put his business out there, but I would love for him to put his business out there for you guys. I would love for you to try to get him to put his business out there. Then we can all talk about it later.
Yeah.
You, me, Iceman, Chubby Jessica, Bitch Slayer, you know, we'll all get together, have one big hoorah about his. But I just don't put people's business out there because, you know, I wouldn't want them putting my business out there if I wasn't ready for that to be out there, you know.
Yeah.
But I do like hearing the business. I'll tell you that. I am. Can you say that fast? Metiches?
Metiche. Metiche.
I only know that, and I only know that word because I get called it often. It's always some older Mexican lady. Oh, you're so metiches. Damn. Thank you.
Hey, so go ahead.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Cheese slice, Jess, or you put some squeeze cheese in there? You want a cheese slice, or you want to put some squeeze cheese? No, we're trying to hook up our dinner right now. So, but yeah, that's what it is. So I do. This was a little twist that I told you guys. You know, us, and you know, we're keeping it between us right now that I let that off. But that there is a twist to his story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he says he didn't do it, and I got to give that man I got to take that man at his word, right? Because who am I to say? Oh, well, he's a liar. He's this, he's that. We did a whole thing today on stereotyping in AVP, making assumptions. I don't know the details of his case or anything like that, but I just know what he said, you know.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, man. It's a tricky thing, and it's like, you know, and think about it. The Innocence Project. You think I've heard a lot of people say they're innocent in prison? Imagine how many people they hear. You know, and how do they decide? How do they make the call? Well, they're going to pass up guys like Derrick, guys like D-Boy, you know, guys who are saying, hey, I didn't do it. I'm innocent. They put an innocent man away. It happens all the time. I'm one of those people. But they decide to investigate and free Scott Peterson.
Yeah, that was a good one right there. That was a good example right there, Scott Peterson.
Everybody thinks that guy did it. I mean,
It's all about who you know.
yeah, even I think the guy did it. New evidence or not, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy did it. And they found a little technicality, but hey, well, what's different about him with the technicalities? If there's unanswered questions, if there's information that was withheld, what's the difference? Why? Because he looks the way he does, and D-Boy and Derrick look the way they do? That's the difference. These guys look way more, Scott Peterson looks way more guilty than these guys.
You know what? When I heard that the Innocent Project was picking up his case, it really left me scratching my head.
When it goes trail.
And somebody, I don't know, I think I was at work, and somebody had mentioned to me that he had actually got back into court, and that they actually did a special on him on A&E. And I looked it up, and that night, and I told my wife, "Oh, hey, we got to check this out." Scott Peterson, he's saying that he's innocent, and he's going back into court. And then, after watching it, we had more questions. We had more questions than answers at that point. But I think the last thing I heard, that they shot down his appeal.
But the thing is, what comes down to it, right, is corners are cut often in police work. Let's be real here. They cut corners. They look for the easy route. They look for the snitch. And so do jurors. Jurors are no different. They want someone to get up and testify and say he did it. And they want an officer to say, I believe he did it based on this witness testimony. They want somebody fancy, prosecutor to go and say, hey, you heard the evidence. Well, what's the evidence? I hear a bunch of things that sound professionally written and articulated, but it's too dependent on this type of testimony. These people, they're making deals with the devil every single day. Hey, this guy, we're pretty sure we can put him away. We're pretty sure it's him. Well, what are you basing that decision off of? You got a girl that's, was 13 at the time, and her older brother who fits the bill a lot better than she does. We can put him away for sure. Jury, there's no way she's going to...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
We're not even going to waste our time and money on that one. Yeah, I could sell... Man, I could put him away. Derrick, I know Jesse can. He got himself out. I'm pretty sure Jesse can get up, Prosecutor Jesse, and put Derrick away. No problem. Jesse will argue so long that the jury will just want to put him away just to get Jesse to stop talking. That's what they do. Yeah. Jesse told me a story about that happening with the judge, where he just went on and on. He will not stop. He will twist the angle. And they were like,
I got second degree as a jury instruction. They were going to only give me first degree and acquittal. And because they were just finally like, you know what? We gotta.
This guy clearly will not let this go. He will continue.
Yep, that's exactly what the judge said.
Yep.
He said, Mr. Nava is clearly not going to let this go. So, for the sake of preserving time here in the court, just give him the jury instruction. If you don't have them on first degree already, you don't have them at all.
Yep.
And
that's what happened.
That's how it works.
So that's the thing, and I do feel like, okay, so the people that are on this podcast, right, the people that listen to this podcast, what type of experience do you want from this podcast? What are you looking for when you listen to individuals like Jesse and I? Yeah, we're Shelly's. This is my boy right here. It's like a brother to me. We are here for what we are. We've been around. We've done things. We both did indeterminate shoes. We've had the whole nines, right? But once you get past that and you think like, okay, well, these guys are in prison. We have an idea of what prison culture is because these guys tell us their stories, and we get an idea of what it's like on the track with the murals, with the rattlesnake, and things like that. But now we go deeper.
Is there any of you out there sitting there imagining what it would be like to visit one of us?
Yeah. Yeah. Go there, And so that's what it is. So now you're going deeper into it. Now you're starting to meet people like my boy Felipe in the van. You're going to meet people like him. That's a real person right there. That's somebody I could call down and, I could try. I don't know what Derrick's doing right now. He's a little older, so he's probably asleep, but, not Derrick. Hey, he's probably down for the night, you know what I mean? He's got his early.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
5:49. He's probably going to sleep for 2 hours already.
Yeah. You got his early bird special in at 3 o'clock and went straight to sleep for the night.
But you guys are really getting to experience prison, what it really is to be in here through our interactions. You guys could ask us questions, we'll give you answers, but you guys hear it. We can't fake Felipe. I couldn't get rid of him if I tried. He keeps coming back like a Ouija board. You throw a Ouija board out, yeah. He's gonna keep showing up. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, what the? How did you get back in here? Hey, was that the 60 seconds?
Yeah. So we got about 5 seconds left.
We'll give you a call back.
All right.
Call back.
All right. So we just hit the 15-minute mark, and they should be calling us back shortly. And let me see the messages right here. So Chubby Jessica writes, they are going to test the tape found on Scott Peterson's wife to see if it has the DNA of other people. And no, they shut down everything down except the testing of the DNA tape. Eliasman writes, redemption. People do change. That is true. And I could what word can I use? I think I'm a good example of change. Let me see.
Esta es Global Telling.
This call is now
Usted
being
tiene una
recorded.
llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Sir.
So, Eliasman, he put a comment on here. He said, he writes, redemption. People do change.
People do change, man. We appreciate you noticing that.
And that's why Dave and I, we don't so much focus on the past and trying to rewrite the past, because the past is the past. There's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? And it's all about where we're at and what we're going to do moving forward. You can sit here and you can harp on whether you did or didn't do it or anything like that. A lot of guys in prison tend to have that mindset. They're so caught up in this, well, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Instead of just accepting responsibility for any part that they may have played in their crime or any part that they may have done, and focus on the here and now and becoming a better person and moving forward, they get hung up in that victim state, and it hinders their ability to grow. And I really redemption. I genuinely believe, because I've seen the worst of the worst. I mean, I don't think I was the worst of the worst, but I definitely was right up there with the pretty scummy individuals. and if I can do it, Dave can do it. All the guys that have come on this channel, for the most part, have all been, they were definitely they weren't just along for the ride. They were definitely a part of the problem for sure. And so if they can do it, then why can't anybody else do it? And so,
Yeah, we're still living, like I mentioned earlier, we're still living real-life prisons. It's happening right now. There's guys that are on here that you're going to experience our highs and our lows with us. We've been very lucky. The guys that we've had on here, for the most part, have been pretty straightforward. They might not be where Jesse and I are at, but most of the guys on here are pretty straightforward. They're not up, Javi's a good dude. Javi's a good dude. He's been down a long time. He does his electronics and stuff like that. He's a good guy. Silas, Ricky Black, some of the guys that hang out around us, yeah, they're straight, but we've had a miss. I won't mention his name, and it doesn't mean that he wasn't a good guy. It just means that
Made a bad choice. That's
made
all.
a bad choice.
He's genuine. He's sincere.
Yeah.
He's just everybody's susceptible. Everybody has their own gray areas.
That's an example. It's a good example. You never know, man. I'm sure somebody out here in the freaking metaverse probably thought I'd beat somebody up by now. I haven't. I have not done it. Oh, I have not done it, L.I. said. And I'm getting better. It took a long time to get to where I was, and it's going to take a long time for me to undo all the trauma and, just bad decision making that I was doing before. And I've come a long way. I have.
Hey, you know what? Chubby Jessica just asked a question, and I think this is a good one here. So, for parole, is it better to admit to the crime and show redemption even though you didn't do it?
Fucking excellent question. That's such a great question. I can't wait for Jesse's answer because it's fucking amazing. No, I'm serious. It's an amazing question.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
That's something that is such a deeply contested issue. It's so crazy that you said that.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely that's one of them forks in the road, because the reality of it is, it's like it's basically impossible to get out of prison without admitting to what it is you're in prison for. Off the top, when you walk into that board hearing, automatically, whatever you're in prison for, it does not matter. Whatever the facts of the case, whatever the prosecution theory was, whatever the verdict read down was, whatever the police report stated, those are all the facts. Bottom line, nothing is up for contesting, nothing is up for negotiation, nothing is up for... So, for those few guys who are in prison that are innocent, that are standing on this like, hey, I've been a great inmate, I haven't gotten any trouble, I haven't done anything, but the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stand on my innocence because that's what I've done from the beginning of time. Dudes have been in here, some dudes 20, 30 years that were innocent and get to find out later on with DNA and this and that. And so guys who were going to board back when they used to take you to board every year, every 7 years, the 7 years, and then they take you back every year. So anyways, to answer that question, Personally, I don't think you even have an option. I don't think you have an option, and that's what makes the process so horrible. For people like me who are guilty, people like Dave who are guilty, that's easy. Once you get to the place that you have to understand that it's all about taking responsibility for your actions. But for those guys who are actually innocent, it sucks. It sucks to have to go in there and take responsibility for something you didn't do. I use this example because my last 1030 was for distribution of a
Explain to them what a 1030 is.
Yeah, a 1030 is when somebody puts a secret kite on you to the cops, basically an informant. Somebody informs on you secretly, and they write a paper. It's called a 1030, which is a confidential memorandum. And basically, there's nothing you can do about that confidential memorandum. As far as they're concerned, it's true. There's not, they have this bullshit process that validates those memorandums that, this person has been a reliable source in the past. There's other information potentially corroborating this source, whatever. But it's all been determined that those 1030s are bullshit because anybody who, especially on the S&Y side, anybody who's got something to say about somebody, they can tell on them just for some weird hater shit, And in the past, I had a bunch of people telling on me. I've always had plenty of people telling on me, and I had it coming because everything they said I was doing, I was absolutely doing. Well, anyways, my last 1030, somebody told on me for some, and this was after I was in my recovery. Somebody put a kite on me saying that I was distributing a controlled substance, and it sucks because I was only a year into my recovery though, but mind you, I was the main dope man on this yard for a long time, and so and not only that, I've sold drugs in prison my whole life, and not just not in prison but on the street. You know what I mean? Like being a drug dealer is something I've done my whole life. So when this person, when I got ready to go to board and this 10:30 turns up, I already had an idea about it because somebody had talked to me about it before, a staff member had talked to me about it before, so I already kind of knew it was coming. But it wasn't really, I wasn't really worried about it. It was like, okay, well, I know how to rectify this. So anyways, I went to medical. I got all my medical files. I did everything. I presented all the evidence that I had to present to substantiate my claim, because one thing I was not going to do, because I was dead set on my date. You know, my clean date, when I turned my life around, and my recovery date, all that stuff is important to me. And I wasn't going to compromise that date and that time for some bullshit just to go in here and have these guys think that I'm doing something or not doing something, you know. And I went into the board, and I presented my defense the best way that I could, understanding that it could work against me, because as far as they're concerned, a lot of those 1030s are true. The 1030s are not as solid as your case factors, you know, like revolving your controlling case. You know, they understand that 1030s are not all true. They kind of understand that. Now, if you have a consistent pattern of them, or you go in there with some bullshit story, they're going to be like, okay, you're not ready to own it, but we know what it is. They can pretty much a lot of times tell now. The board can. CDCR holds them as gold, but the board is like, okay, this doesn't even sound right, this doesn't look right, whatever. So anyway, for me, they asked me about it, you know, and I told them, you know, like, I'm not here to take. I'm here to take responsibility for things that I did do, not things that I didn't do. And I understand that this can work against me. I understand that I created this image for myself that if somebody wanted to leave this yard, I was not so far removed from the criminal element that I wouldn't make a perfect target for them to be like, oh, him and those guys and the gang members and this and that, you know, when they were telling. And so, but yeah, so for me, and I could have went in there and I could have owned it and just started my clean date from that day, right? But I wasn't about to do that, because I was just like, to me, that was, it wasn't something that I could live with, that I could look myself in the face and be like, oh, you know what, man, that's, you know, because I wasn't in there to bullshit them. And I told them that. I'm not here to lie to you guys. I'm here to take full responsibility for my actions and everything that I've done in the past, and my you know, take responsibility moving forward. And this is not something I can take responsibility for. If that was my intention, and I actually had everything presented for them, I showed them my medical files, I showed them everything that would have backed it up, and they were like, okay, you know, they moved on, they were cool with it, you know. So to answer her question about the defense, your actual controlling case, no, you absolutely have to go in there and admit to being guilty for something that you didn't do. That's just the reality, and it's a damn shame, because you know, if you tried to go in there and say, hey, look at my record, look who I am, you know, like my prison behavior should show you that I'm not that person, you know, and that should be enough. But you can't. You got to go in there and you got to express insight to them for something that you didn't even do, and then just allow your history, your prison behavior to back you up. You know?
Hey, and not only that, right, is you have to, the problem is with guys who, they come in, right? Say a guy comes in, and let's say he's innocent, didn't do it, comes in. Most of the time, guys like that are going to be model prisoners.
Yep.
They're not from this lifestyle.
Yep.
They're not going to come in here and start whacking people on the yard. They might be bitter. They might have fucked up attitude, but they're not going to come in here and they're not going to be rule breakers, because these people, if they're really innocent, they've been following rules, you know, their whole life. They might, you never know what the situation is. There could be guys who, yeah, got in trouble for things before and whatnot, you know, maybe had been to prison, but let's say the guy who comes in here doesn't have a criminal history, gets tied into something, probably something Jesse and I did in the past. So something, you know, like, yeah, we knew a lot of regular people. You never know who get caught up fucking with us in the past, you know. And guy comes in. He doesn't have a history of violence in here. He doesn't have a history of drugs, gang association, and all the you know, all the stuff, you know. Then
Checking all the crime boxes.
Jesse and I came in here raising hell. We were in here just like, you know, two guns blazing, just doing what we do, doing what we've done our whole lives. It's easier for the board to recognize our change in our transition because we have such a documented pattern of behavior. So opposed to the guy who doesn't have any of these things, this guy doesn't have a documented pattern of behavior other than he's arrested.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
He's doing his time, and then he goes in front of the parole board. The parole board asks him, let's say he did his 25 to life or whatnot, goes to the parole board, and they're not going to let him out if he doesn't take responsibility for what he's in prison for. He's not. Why should he? Should he lie? If he was to go there and lie, guarantee you he'll have a better chance of getting out. If he was just to go in there and say, I did it, and made up the whole circumstances according to the evidence in his case. Unfortunately, they're going to be more skeptical about him anyway, because he doesn't have a documented pattern that they can evaluate. He doesn't have the fight. He doesn't have all these things that were happening, and then all of a sudden there was a change in behavior, and they're like, okay, we can see it. What led to this change, and and the insight will come in and whatnot. These guys, they look at it like, hey, what do you mean? I was never that person to begin with, so now you want me to invent a recovery? And so their board is done before they even walk in there. And they're going to sit in here for 20, 30, 40 years and beyond if they don't go in there and say that they did it. That happens. It's happening right now to people. And that's why the system of parole is so tricky, because let's play devil's advocate here. Let's look at it from the perspective of the commissioners. They have to be sure that they're not putting a monster back out into the community.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Do you have the right answer for that, James? Let the guy go who says he's innocent when there's no documented recovery or insight? Why? Because he's done his time? How do you know that he's even worked on himself? What if he is guilty?
Yeah, I don't.
Moved in next door to you, James?
Nah, I want the dude that.
Jeopardy? Think about it.
Nah.
He goes and gets some shears on some what do you call them? Some trimmers. You see him walking around with some beard trimmers.
Hey, so the call. This call is about to hang up in about 10 seconds. If you guys could go ahead and give us a call back, and I got a comment from a Iceman that he wrote, so I'll read that off to you right now when you guys call back.
And you got to start saying, "Hell, Iceman."
All right. So if you're just joining us right now, we're currently live on the phone with Jesse NAVA and David Lopez, and we normally have these streams on Sundays at about like 4:30 or so, and then we normally stay on about 2 hours. We've been on for at least an hour and a half at this point, but they were talking about the board of parole, and Chubby Jessica had asked, okay, here it is, they're calling back, and let me pick it up.
This call is now being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello.
James.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. So Iceman wrote he wrote this in the chat here, and he writes, it never goes away. You're always gonna have that. You're always gonna have that. Let's fade attitude. You always have to work on it. I'll be 60 in April, and I still have a big chip on my shoulder.
Hey, that man deserves a chip.
After 60 big ones.
After 60 big ones, he deserves that chip. Iceman, from Jesse and I, you rock that chip, my boy.
The reality of it is, he's 100% right. You know what I mean? All we do, and I tell people that all the time when I'm facilitating these programs, like, you can't unsee the life you've seen. You can't unlive the life you've lived. All you do is learn to, say it. Yeah. Because that's pertaining to making a bad choice. But but the reality is you can't, like all we do is we learn to cope and live with the flaws, the things that we've generated over years and years. You don't get, just because we transform ourselves and we rebuild our lives and we become new people and we create new identities for ourselves, there's still bits and pieces of that old person, no matter what, that are still going to reside in you. But what you do is you learn how to manage that old person. You learn how to manage those old, distorted beliefs and perspectives, so that way they don't consume you. So that way they're no longer driving. They're not a part of your GPS system anymore. They're no longer basically driving your behavior today, or helping you forge your decisions. So you may stop, like we're conscious of it now. When I catch myself being judgmental, when I catch myself being mean, when I catch myself being, having negative thoughts, I'm able to recognize it like, well, before it was, that's the normal thought. That was how I thought. That's how I believed. That's what, that's how I expected, and that was my perspective. Where now it's like when I put expectations on people that are unrealistic, I'm able to catch myself. Hey, hold on. That's not fair to that individual. Or just, there's just so many aspects. So he's absolutely right. You live with those things for the rest of your life. You just learn how to cope with them, and you learn how to make sure that they're not the primary function in your character. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. The life, the experiences that I've lived with in my past are going to make me a better person moving forward. A great friend of mine, somebody who I got a lot of love for, she tells me, like, this is your decade. You finally come into your power. And I think that's awesome, because I love that. Like that she has that vision, she has that perspective of me. When like my whole life I felt like I was striving for power and control and this and that. And the reality of it is, like, none of the power I had in the past was genuine or real. It was me trying to project a level of power in a life that was nothing. Where now,
Somebody in a world of nobody.
Yeah, being somebody in a world of nobodies. And so, like, this person who's very near and dear to me, she tells me, like, you're finally have reached your power. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, which is cool. Which is absolutely, that's absolutely the case. I do feel that, because every day, every accomplishment that I obtain in my life now, I feel more and more powerful. I feel more and more in control of my life. And I was telling somebody the other day, when we were talking about, getting into it with somebody, and I told him, I said, look, fool, I said, we spent our whole life, trying to be powerful, trying to be this and that and the other thing. And now, for once in our lives, now that we're actually in control of our emotions, in control of our thoughts, and in control of our behavior and the trajectory of our life, why would we want to turn around and give that power to somebody else, our true power? And I came in and told Dave the other day, after I had that conversation with that individual, because he was having an issue with somebody, and he, and I've known this dude forever. He was a stone cold gangster, and I told him, I said, fool, you've come a long way. Don't ever allow yourself back in that place. I said, for once in our life, we have total power and control over the situation, and you don't ever want to give that power over to somebody else. And so I just think that's awesome, And so, well, absolutely. Yeah. So that's how we feel about that, James. Hey, James.
Yeah.
Earlier, we were talking off the air, and you had mentioned something about that, because last week, we talked about the visitations. We talked about going in to visit and just the nuances of trying to come visit somebody in custody and just the stuff that people have to deal with. One thing that we forgot to mention, and you brought it up, and that was a great observation of yours. And it was about when you walk into these visiting rooms, that the only men you really see in the visiting rooms are the individuals sitting in blues. And so real quick before we elaborate on that a little bit, what was your perspective on that? What was your experience with that? What made you think of something like that? Because when you said it, it was like, wow, that's absolutely true, and we have personal experience with that. But what was your personal experience from somebody coming out there? Because I'm sure there's people on these channels, on our channel, that that come to prison and visit people, and they have an experience, or may in the future come to visit somebody, and so what's your perspective as a civilian out there having to go through the experience, and what was it like what were your thoughts when you walked into the visiting room and you said, man, there's no dudes visiting anybody in here. The only dudes in here are sitting across the table on blues.
Yeah, so yeah, that was like one of the, well, you know what, I noticed that even before I got into the visiting room, I noticed off the back, when people are lining up, just to get into the building or unit they're going to be going into, you just see the majority of people there, to visit somebody are women and children. And then once you do, if you make it through the gauntlet of other hoops and other ridiculousness they make you go through before you get into that visitation room, uh, you walk in and you see that there's just women. I would say about 95%, maybe 98% of the individuals that are visiting loved ones are wives, mothers, and kids. And I was fortunate enough to, once I was walking in, I spoke to one of the gentlemen there, and he had mentioned that he was there to visit his son, and he actually moved closer to the prison so he could visit his son at least once a week. And I was like, wow, that's huge. That's huge, just because, like I mentioned earlier on, you don't see any, you really don't see any men visiting anybody there. And I'm assuming it's because either they got criminal records.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
They can't get to the facilities or whatever, or then or they just don't care. Like when you're in the street, you have a lot of friends, and I mentioned this to you earlier on the call off the air. If the people that are with you in the street, if they're not writing to you, if they're not picking up your collect calls, then they're absolutely not going to be visiting you. I think when it comes to people visiting individuals in prison, I'm a rarity. You won't come across too many people, or men like me, that'll go actually take their time, jump through the hoops, write the warden to be able to get into these facilities to go visit a friend. Um,
Yeah.
and I didn't mention that last time when we were speaking about the about the visits. What's your take on that? Jesse and David.
Yeah, that's a pretty good observation, honestly, because I go to visit all the time. I've been fortunate enough to always be able to go, to visit, and it's actually that's a very accurate assessment. You know what I mean? And as far, damn, that's crazy. You see that? Yeah, we're watching America's Funniest Video right now, and a dog jumped off the back of a boat onto the back of a shark.
What?
Yeah, I was like, oh, that thing's dead.
Yeah, it's crazy. The shark didn't even react, though. The shark just kept on swimming away, and the dog fell off his back and swam back to the boat. It was crazy.
Yeah, let's see him do it to a tiger shark or something.
Yeah, he got his ass chewed.
One of them sharks that looks like a bottom feeder shark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So anyway, yeah, it's true, and very seldomly do you ever see, fathers or men in the visiting room. It's always a mother, a sister, a girlfriend, a prima. It's always the women who have enough compassion and empathy and sympathy for the individual incarcerated to go through those struggles that we mentioned last week, all them hard struggles, And there's and we definitely got to commend those women. David does it all the time, and I gotta send a shout out too, for all those women who make those sacrifices to come see us in prison. We don't have the ability or the capacity to assist them in those journeys, and so they're technically doing that by themselves. And so that comes from the bottom of their heart. That comes from like such a great place that it's really unmatched. You know what I mean? And so I just want to definitely tilt my hat to all those women that make those sacrifices. Some of them do it every week. Some do it 2-3 times a week, and to do that for years, it takes a special kind of woman, and it takes a special kind of woman at all to even, subject himself to that stuff just to come see somebody. So it definitely speaks multitudes
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
about the affection and about the feelings and the sincerity of the individuals who subject themselves to that. And there was another thing too that made me think of. You know, the reality of it is also too, and I think the listeners need to understand that is most of us in here came from broken homes. Like, that's just the reality. Single parent homes. You know, so not having a man in that visiting room to come see you is really not even an option. You know, my brother-in-law comes to see me with my sister and my nephews and nieces and stuff like that. And I can honestly say, you know, I've had 2 homies come visit me, but that's like the extent of ever being seen in the visiting room with a man. And it's crazy because if you ever talk to anybody in prison, 9 out of 10 times they were raised by their grandmother or raised by their mother. You know, very few people in here have you ever had a conversation that is still a mother and a father in the household. And 9 out of 10 times, had they grown up in a 2-parent household, they probably wouldn't be here because it'd be a pretty even, balanced home, and it's not so much the dysfunction that a lot of us have to deal with. Mothers are doing what they can to raise boys, you know, but there's only so much they can do, you know. And so when you walk in that visiting room, that's just more proof of what it is. You know, that's just more proof of what it is. You know, that there's mothers out there seeing their kids, but most of that kid's life, he's probably never had a father there. So not seeing him in the visiting room is really nothing, you know. You want to add something to that, Dave?
No, I was thinking about my homie Ali, you know. My homie Ali, he's been on here before, but he came up here to visit me a few times. He went to my wedding, you know. He came into the wedding, and he asked my boy. I've known that fool James since I was probably 4 years old. I've known that fool since preschool. Yeah, I've known that fool a long time. Still lives in the same neighborhood. Does his thing though, you know. He's successful, works, a good guy. And he was doing a lot of the same stuff I was doing, you know, when I was living over there. But yeah, I've been very fortunate to have Ali, you know, in my life. He's there. That's family though.
And I used to say that before when I was on the line, you know, that I can count my friends on a hand. You know, I have less than a handful of friends. You know, a lot of people, you got all kinds of homies, you got boys, you got my dog, you got this, that. But I used to say it all the time on the line. If I ever called somebody my friend, then that dude knows he's like family. You know what I mean? Like, he knows I'm going to treat him like a brother. Like, I got everybody's got homies, everybody's got this and that. But it was a whole different level, and I used to tell those that were close to me too, you know what I mean? Like, hey, if I tell you this dude is my friend, then you treat them like my family. Other than that, they're just associates. Whether they're my homies, whether they're my boys, whether they're my dogs, they're just associates. But if I say, hey, that's my friend right there, I'm telling you that dude is like family. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's hard to find somebody like that. I've had one of those guys like Ali.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Since elementary school, but I knew him for a long time, and no matter where I was through the juvenile system, and the crazy thing is he stayed in the system his damn self. But one thing about him, when he was on the streets and he was doing good, he always made sure that he wrote me letters, he sent me stamps, he sent me pictures of him and his kids and his wife, you know, his family, whatever girl he was with at the time. He always made sure he kept me connected, you know, and so it was just a trip, you know, like to see that. And to me, it was like, man, this dude's just as dysfunctional as I am, but he makes a damn good effort to show me that he's my friend, you know. That's cool. James wanted to do another call.
Yeah, it's about to hang up. We got about 20 seconds before they're going to pull the plug on this one.
All right, I'll give you a call back.
All right, cool. Thank you. All right, so you're just joining up right now. We're currently on the line with Jesse and David. They're both located in Centinela State Prison, obviously in the state of California, level 3 facility. I know a lot of people, when they jump on the chat, that's one of the first thing they want to know. So just throwing it out there. And they should be calling us back in the next moment or two. And once they do, then we're going to continue. And one of these messages here that I read from Glow 87. Let me see right here. Oh, they're calling back.
Esta es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de...
This call is now being recorded.
Lopez.
Saludos to
Un
the Zone
individuo
760.
encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello, hello.
Well, hey, what's up?
All right.
Yeah, yeah, I got another homie right now that's he's my friend, you know, he's like a brother to me too. Jesse knows him real well too, but he's going through the process right now trying to get approved so he can come up here. But yeah, he would have got approved before, but he'd been in prison before, so we had to wait for a little while. He's been out for a few years already, and he had something going on in court. Yeah, it's just about putting in the work, you know. With families like that, there's no SNYGP. There's none of those things. Like, that shit don't freaking matter. That shit matters to people in here and that little lifestyle. And yeah, if you got a friend or family member, like somebody who you know, somebody who's like that, and they're on the line, yeah, they're gonna keep it down. If they got family over here, you know. Yeah, they're not gonna put that shit out there. Some people do. I've heard it a few times. Where they're just like, yeah, you know, that's so that's what he's doing, you know, that's what it is. But it's just, it all depends, you know. But yeah, you don't really see that too much. Too many men in the business room. When my homie Ali comes, you know, we just chill, just post up. I got a cool picture with him.
I used to tell the homies all the time in the county, I'll be like, where are the homies at if they're not sitting right here next to you in the cell?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like let's be honest about it. How often, you know what I mean? Even dudes that were superstars in their barrio, you know what I mean? Like, where were the homies at? Very seldomly. Yeah, if you call the homies, yeah, what's up, fool? Hey, you need anything? Yeah, I do. I need some money. They'll go around and everybody chip in $50, $100 a piece, and you get your little nest egg for canteen for a few weeks or something, whatever. But the reality of it is, you don't hear from the homies unless the homies are sitting in the jail cell or sitting in the county or sitting in the prison with you. You know what I mean? It's like out of sight, out of mind.
Hey, it was funny that when I was on the streets, you know, because Jesse got locked up pretty young, you know, like right at the height when like all kinds of like shit started popping off for us out there, and he just set up shop in here, just did him, you know. But Jesse was like, he was like the dude from Charlie's Angels, you know, like always Jesse was always on the phone. Like, he was just like, we would just be cruising around and Jesse's voice would be right there on speaker, you know.
It'd be like, hey, all the time I'd be on the phone and be like, hey, guess who just walked in?
Yeah,
it was always,
yep. Yeah, Jesse's voice was a voice on a speaker, you know. We couldn't go see Jesse, you know. We were all fucked up. We were in and out of the freaking in the system, prison, so that was just what we could do, you know. I always took his call.
It's funny though that you say that because I got at one time I got somebody out there on the Ramon, Spanish brother,
yeah,
and so we got the homie out. Oh, you remember when all that was going on? You were even in the tank still when it happened. Were you in the tank?
Oh yeah, bro.
Okay, so
poor Ramon, dog.
So my boy Pit Viper. Yeah, my boy Pit Viper. He's my crimey and he's my brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he's out there on the streets at the time, and I got him out there, you know, running around making moves for me because we got somebody coming in.
Yeah.
Somebody that David got busted. Did he get busted with you?
He got busted with me for the guns.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
He was my crimey.
Yeah, he was David's crimey on one case, right? So Dave's like, hey, I need you to do a favor for my boy, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's in here doing live food, this and that, whatever. Yep. Long story short, the dude agrees to come back. He's one of the boys. He's still out there. We actually talk to him still to this day.
Yeah.
He's doing good.
Fucking great guy.
And great dude, right? So anyways, he agrees to come in and bring a clavo in for me. And so Dave's getting ready. You didn't go to prison that time, did you?
No, I went to prison.
Oh, that's good.
I couldn't. Yeah, because I couldn't bail out because I was
you were on parole. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I'm the only one that went back to prison out of that whole little group.
Yep.
Got busted with a couple straps in the car.
Yep. Back to prison.
Yeah, I went back to prison for that.
Hey, was that the time?
And I'm only. Go ahead.
Was that the time in Mexico, or was that a different time?
No, different time.
Okay.
I was always armed.
Yeah, different time. Yeah, and so, but the funny thing about it is that dude is Pit Viper, right? My brother Pit Viper. That's who he's on here. He listens all the time, but I send him around to go pick up, you know, to put some things together and pick this guy up and take him where he needs to be, so that way, you know, everything works out the way it's supposed to work out. and he shows up at some house, and he's like, guess who's right here, this PC motherfucker. Like, he starts tripping on somebody that's there at the house, right? And I'm trying to tell him, hey, fool, you got something you got to do. You know what I mean? Like, let's, like, forget that. You know what I mean? Like, that. What is, like, who cares? Like, you can go back there later, pick up what you got to pick up, get in the car, and get the hell up out of there. Like, who gives a fuck about that PC-ass food? Like, I don't remember who it was. But he's like, nah, hold on. And he's on the phone with us on the phone in the county. He's like, hey, you motherfucker, what are you doing here? You fucking pissed. Like, it was funny as hell, though. But that was just another situation. So when I called back later, because it was some girl's house, that I sent him over to this girl's house that we knew, to Teresa and Suzanne and them. Yeah. And so all the smokers used to kick it right there at that pad. So anyway, I called back later on, and they're like, hey, man, your brother came over here, you know, like, he was tripping, and I know, I was on the phone, remember? Oh, yeah, but, you know, and it was just like, so that's just another example how Dave said, like, every time somebody would, like, I'd be on the phone everywhere. Back then I was talking to everybody in all the different places, so it's like, that was my way of being on the street still, you know, and that kind of connects us to, that's a good transition to the next spot that we wanted to talk about.
Hey, that story ended badly, James.
Yeah,
that story ended badly. So we were on this big old trip, right? Like I said, he was my crimey. He bailed out this court, so he had to come back on a warrant. You know how we did it back then. It was like, all right, well, if you come back, just come back to this jail. Come back to this jail, and we'll hook you up. We'll get everything ready. And that's basically what Jesse was doing. You know, we had this dude driving all over the place. We had the bro with him, making sure he was doing what he had to do, and he ends up in the jail. He gets arrested out there in Blythe, and we had been working on this for so long that obviously fucking the cops got onto it. And so we were all involved out there, you know. Everybody that was involved in this scheme was some sort of fucking mastermind fucking being monitored, you know. We were all, you know, especially the main dude, you know, they're all up in our business. So they uncovered this scheme super fast. So,
well, they were also monitoring Blue, Leo Lazoya's chick.
They were monitoring everybody. Yeah. Everybody involved with this fucking situation was getting monitored, like
out there
by some sort of agency.
Yeah, everybody had a different agency following their specific circumstances.
Yeah.
So you had like a bunch of interagencies.
Yeah, we were fucking like,
and here we were, the dodo bird criminals, thinking we're being slick about it.
Yeah, we're all.
But everybody's got their own investigation that just happened to cross paths with another one, so it just made it.
We fucking spiderweb investigations, right? Because we're all involved in like some sort of organized crime, right? This dude, so this dude comes in, right? This dude, it's our boy too, man. It's fucked up. He did this for us, man. You know, he took it literally, right? So he ends up showing up at the county. Fucking agent, I don't even know what agency was waiting for him, right? But I just know that they take him straight to potty watch.
No, they took him to the X-ray.
Yeah.
Remember, he comes in and he walks right back out, and he walked to the hospital.
Yeah, they took him to the hospital because whatever he had, he wasn't experienced with it.
He had a baby, but he had a candy baby bottle. Yeah. A candy baby bottle filled with lava.
The next day, front page news, right? They show the right there. They show the page. We get the newspaper, right? And we're wondering what happened to the boy. He's right there on the front page, and it says "Man found concealing drugs in rectum."
With his picture and everything.
With his picture, right? His fucking mugshot. He looked so whipped, right? He had that look like. Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah,
front page, and they did the whole fucking article, right, was uncovering our plot, right?
Yeah, conspiring gang leaders in the county jail to introduce narcotics into the institution. It was a whole little thing.
It was a whole fucking page.
They even brought the chicks because we brought them up here. We put them in a hotel room. They got 2 girls, so that way at least you could get some last-minute pussy before he comes in, because he's got to make some sacrifices. He's going to have to do a couple months. The good thing is, fortunately, he didn't have to, because getting busted with David, he was actually going to stay out. He wouldn't have had to come back. He came back for us. He made the sacrifice to come back for us. But because he got cracked now he's got to do a county year, which he wouldn't have had to do actually. He wouldn't have had to do the county year.
I took the, because I had the gun case, you know, like that was, it was 2 firearms, so I was like, they were like, oh yeah, we got this fucking gang leader, you know, he's fucking done.
Yeah, so that shit was yeah, it was fun. I felt bad for him, and you know what's crazy about it?
I still feel bad about that.
You know what's crazy about it too is while he was there, right? Because at the time we used to run a mean ass group exercise.
Oh yeah.
And I was a slave driver for the exercise at the time, right? So and everybody, you had the easy group, the first group, and then the second group was the hard group. And so, or the easy group was the hard group was the first one, the easy group was the second one. So anyways, one day he's like, hey man, I can't my back, and I was like, oh, here we go, because you know everybody had. I've never been so many people that had freaking sick notes from their doctor to get out of exercise in prison, you know.
And he doesn't even belong in tanks like that.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like we brought him into like the tanks where they put us, or like high power tanks. Like he doesn't belong. He didn't belong. He belonged in like the freaking random tanks, you know, like where they have just the regular guys, you know, the standard domestic violence guys, probably. Shit, drunk drivers.
Yeah.
We had him. We
had him with a prior.
We had him in the fucking. We had him in like the most notorious gang tanks that there are. Right? All them dudes are there on fucking murders and freaking all kinds of shit, you know.
Hey, so one morning, so I told you one morning he's like, hey, I can't do exercise today, Pete, this and that, you know, my back, and I'm like, what? Like, fool, you better get your ass up, you know what I mean? Be ready in 5 minutes, routine out in 5 minutes, you know. And he's just like, oh man, all right, I'll try, you know. Of course, you know, he's one of the fellas, he's trying to. And he goes out there and he knocks out the little half-ass exercise because he's in the second crew, the easy one. And they're like, hey, old boy doesn't want to exercise today. He says his back, you know. So, of course, I go over there to talk to him because he's already getting VIP treatment with me just because of everything he did, you know. So, and he's like, hey, my back hurts. And I'm like, what? I was like, nah, you too. You with the back, huh? And he just like, well, you know. And so I told him, look, just try it, fool. See what's up. Just do what you can.
Didn't his bladder go, gallbladder go up?
He had kidney stones. He had something. His gallbladder ruptured. One of them ruptured.
What kind of monster?
So we got him out there. I told him, look, just do what you can, and don't trip. Just run in place, whatever you can do. And so later on that day, he ends up going man down. He does the exercise. He goes man down. They take him to the outside hospital, and they were literally like, if he would, I think his gallbladder ruptured, and it was like if he would have
done one more burpee, he would have died.
Yeah, they basically told him like he could have died if we wouldn't have got him here sooner. So I was like, when he came back, I felt super bad. I was like, damn, this fool. Not only did we get him locked up in the county for a year, we almost killed him while he was here. Yeah, I felt super bad. I mean. But that's the boy, though.
Yeah, he didn't even he was in the car with the guns because I was like, faithful, we got to strap up, let's go handle this, you know? We just had him fucking nonstop on some crazy shit. And, hey, so, yeah, but that's, hey, he got his life together, man. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing, you know?
Yeah, he's a great dude. Yeah. That's one of them dudes you can call a friend because he's definitely,
he's very loyal, genuine.
Yeah.
And in those tanks, James, those were headquarters for us. Those types of gang tanks, those are like operating centers. And in those places, you have to do rutina, mandatory rutina. It's just what it is. You have to. So we split the crews. Morning crew.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Yeah, first crew, second crew, get it all situated, but you just have to. And it's what it is. And those are training centers for prison. And those are training centers to get people not only ready to come to prison, but if they're in those tanks and they're around us at that time, we're preparing them to become soldiers in prison. That's what it is. So yes, you get the VIP treatment. If you're there, we'll let you be there, but it's still the environment. You're gonna have to do workouts. You're gonna have to you gotta make sure you're clean, and you gotta,
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
There's things that are required of you in those tanks, and unfortunately, see, it was so normal to Jesse and I because we grew up in places like that. So it was to us, it was like anybody who wasn't a part of that was weird or was just something else, you know? We requested to go to those places. People pulled us in those places. We wouldn't even go anywhere else. You're like, are you serious? You're going to put me in there? I'm going to show you why you should never do that again.
You're going to clearly you haven't checked out my class notes.
Yeah,
You know that I do
you're not going to
belong
put me in a
that
tank
tank,
like
let's
that
go.
again, trust me. It's going to make you look really bad in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey,
You like the position that you're working right now because your sergeant's probably going to have somewhere else for you to be.
hey, callback is about to hang up.
All right, well,
All right, so right now when they call back, I'm gonna go ahead and ask them the question from California 11 and also the question from El Iceman. And so right now we're just waiting. So these calls only last 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, these calls are automatically cut off. And these calls are live, so we're actually listening to them in real time. So when they call back, we'll go ahead and commence and continue with it, and that's what it is. If you're interested in listening to their life story or their journey, if you go over to YouTube, go on their playlist and look up their names, and you could go through their journey.
Esta es Global
This
Telling.
call is now
Usted
being
tiene una
recorded.
llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
yes, sir.
All right. So I got two questions for you. One question is from California 11, and then the other question is going to be from a Liceman. I'm going to go ahead and read off the question from California 11 first, and then I'll read off the second one from a Liceman. So the first one from California 11, he wants to know, do a lot of inmates try to get their degrees?
It's getting that way. So it's crazy because I think I'm more biased in my opinion because the only people I really associate with are pursuing college degrees. Yeah, they're offering college classes now. What the problem is, okay, one is a lot of guys are still stuck in GED. That's the problem. I think the GED test here, it's not that, it's kind of difficult, but not too difficult. But remember, you're dealing with guys who aren't, they didn't really take school seriously, so they're starting from scratch. Most of the guys that go into the GED class don't know how to do a fraction, so they have to get those guys ready for school. Then you have to get those guys out of the GED class and into college. Now the second thing is a lot of guys are intimidated by college. I was one of them. A lot of guys are intimidated by it because we have real college professors that come in here from the university, from San Diego State, in this institution, and we have Imperial Valley College. So we're in a real college setting. We have laptops, we use Canvas. It's a real setting. So unfortunately, they don't have a lot of space. In our class, it's a whole cohort. They somehow put 37 people in there, which we don't know where all they're going to sit, but it's supposed to be around 30 people. So think about it. This yard has about 400 or 500 people, and there's only 30 slots for the in-person classes. So that's why people want to get their degrees. It's just there's a waiting list. Then the correspondence colleges, a lot of those guys, you could get some of your units through correspondence, like online college, but a lot of guys don't really know how to fill out their registration, and they don't know how to pick their classes. They don't know the general ed. I help a lot of guys with their general education and picking up their classes. I help guys fill out their registration. So that's a huge issue. I know at least half the population, if not more, on the yard would love a college degree, absolutely. But as far as actively pursuing it, it should be more. It should be more.
All right.
I don't know. What do you think, Jess? How many people on the yard? How many people on the yard right now out of the 400 or 500 people are actually pursuing associates or bachelors?
I'd probably say less than 100.
Less than 100. So, hope I answered that.
And
if you're a professor, whoever you are, come here. We need you. Go ahead.
And to get these degrees, do you guys have to pay, or does the state pick up the bill on that?
the state. See, a lot of people don't that's a misconception about the state paying for that. The state does not pay for our college.
Okay.
We qualify for grants like student aid, student loans. What is it? It's not student loans. It's financial aid. It's called the Hope Scholars or Pell. What is it called? The Pell Grants and stuff. Yeah, they're scholarships that we got, and that's what pays for it.
Okay. Thank you, David, and David and Jesse for sharing that with us right there. And then I'm gonna ask you one
no
question before I ask Eliasman's question. I know today you guys got day room. Would you guys be interested in doing a video visit?
Yeah, I could do it with you. Jess, you want to do a video visit? We go out. We go out in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Okay. All right. Cool.
I'll go try to lock in a kiosk or something. I got to do a haircut, but I can do the haircut after.
Do the haircut while on the video visit.
I am also a barber. hey, I can honestly, but I'm not going to be able to look at you at all. I got one haircut. To do. Hey, I would love to do a haircut in front of the kiosk, but I don't know if it would blur it out.
Yeah, they probably blur it out. Yeah, because you gotta be like really close to the monitor.
He's gonna ask right now.
So, Awa.
What's up?
So
yeah, he's all Awa. Hey, we Jesse's washing dishes right now from dinner. And,
not in the toilet, right?
We don't throw anything No, but we don't throw any water from dishes ever in the sink. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Did you not? Yeah, it's everything like we don't wash them in the toilet, but we dump all the water out because our toilet is connected to our sink.
Yeah.
But we don't have the drains. The drains that they have in the sink, they're security drains. So they're basically holes. Like they're about as big as if you were to I don't know, punch it with a nail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nail holes.
Okay.
They're about that width. So there's about 8 of them on the bottom part of the sink,
mm-hmm.
and you can't get much down, and they clog easy. So our sinks we keep them really clean. Because we don't we bird bath with the sinks also. So we always make sure that they're not there's no film in there, there's no food in there. We don't ever spit in the sinks for brushing our teeth.
Yeah.
We do everything into the toilet.
Yeah, that no
water. It's usually something like that.
The no spitting on the sink. That one I'm aware of from county, but that other one for the bowls.
Yeah.
That's definitely a new one for me.
Yeah, everything goes in the toilet.
All right.
I'll
So I'm gonna go ahead and ask the question from Eliasman, and he's asking, "Are the homies following the presidential race?" And then he also writes right before, "Ask only if you feel it's appropriate. Politics sometimes get personal and heated." Hey,
Eliasman, you're the boy, and I would love to have this conversation with you off the air. He asked if the homies are following the presidential race, and please elaborate if appropriate. Hey, okay, look, let me tell you this.
The hell with Kamala.
Yeah, she's a freaking prosecutor. She's a prosecutor that's on my denial of my appeal. She's on my paperwork. I'm pretty sure she's on Jesse's, and she's on a lot of our paperwork in here. That lady, yeah, she put a lot of people away, but she's a part of that system. She's part of the system. And look, I don't think they're all bad, but
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I ain't gonna vote to put no prosecutor in office. They're very one-track mind, and think about, she's probably on innocent people's paperwork too, such as D-Boy and Birds, or Derrick, innocent Derrick and innocent D-Boy. But go ahead.
I don't give as much thought to the prosecution angle of Birds, right? She was absolutely part of the mass incarceration problem in California, but everybody.
That's what I mean about it.
90% of the people here gave her pretty good reasons to lock us up, though. So I don't want to take nothing away from that. She didn't put me here; I put myself here. And most of the people that I know, whose name she's on their paperwork, they put themselves here also. But one thing I've learned about the justice system is it's unjust. Simple as that. It wasn't about far and few between prosecutors were actually there to find justice for the victims. Is what it's supposed to be all about. But the reality is, defense and prosecution is all It's all about win or lose. You know, they don't care about the evidence. They don't care about what they have to do to get the win. They don't care what kind of witnesses they have to use, how they have to taint it. And that's just the reality of it. You know what I mean? So I don't have respect for the prosecution. I don't have respect for the defense either, because we would play the same dirty games. I played the same dirty games to win my case that they played to win a lot of their cases along the way. So my personal opinion about her is she's done nothing. She's nobody. What has she done that qualifies her to run the greatest country in the world? You know, like as far as like the land of the free. I really can't say, because I haven't experienced this greatness of this country that everybody talks about, because I chose to live outside the norms of society. But if you listen to other people tell it, it's supposed to be the land of opportunity, the greatest country in the world. So, I mean, what has she done? You know, if you think about it, she had two responsibilities since she's been in that White House, and it was the border and women's rights. And look at both of them. Look what's going on. Both of them. They're both in shambles. You know what I mean? Immigration is a broken machine. You know what I mean? Like, she's done nothing to. They've been in there for 4 years, and she could have easily created a solid pathway of legal migration. You know, everything doesn't have to be. You know, it doesn't have to be closed borders, but there has to be some sort of legitimate structure. They didn't have that. Look at the women's rights. And like I said, she's a socialist. I don't believe in socialist concepts. That's just not my thing. You know what I mean? I believe that the opportunities are here in this country, and if you do the work and you apply yourself, then the opportunities are there. And I believe that socialism is an enabling, you know, experience, and that's not cool, you know, because you don't learn anything. If anything easily obtained isn't worth keeping, and that's the reality of what that's teaching people when you got a socialist country. And so Donald Trump is a jackass, bona fide jackass, you know what I mean? But I'm not voting for an individual. You know, I'm voting for me personally. I'm not even voting. I'm in prison, right? But the reality of it is, if I had the opportunity to vote, I would vote Republican, and I would vote conservative, right? I definitely believe in helping people out, and I believe in certain aspects of liberalism. But I don't think the Democrats even understand what they're doing today. It's so far left and so far right that neither party really understands what they're doing. So I would be more along the independent aspect. I just don't think that Kamala Harris has what it takes to run this country. As far as like Hillary Clinton, I think Hillary Clinton would have made a badass president. You know, you want a good Democratic woman president? I think Hillary Clinton would have got the shit done. She would have been a great president. But I just don't think Kamala Harris is built for that job, and she's done nothing to prove that she is, and I don't think she's going to win the White House. That's just the reality of it. I think it's too late, you know. She came in too late, and I think the reality of it is every Americans care most about all these passionate points that everybody, you know, you know, women's rights and the border and the economy and this and that. All those things might tug at people's hearts a little bit, you know, racism and all the other things that they use against each other. But the reality is, the one thing that matters most is the economy. And the one thing that the Democrats have done to people is they've hit them in the checkbook, and that's just the truth about it. And so when people go out to those polls to vote, they're going to be voting for what affects their pocketbook the most. And as far as they're concerned, the Republicans are going to be most beneficial to them, you know. But that's just me and my right-wing opinion. If you know I don't hate it.
Yep. Yeah. So Jesse's very passionate about this. I am too. I feel the same way though about. I just think about it like, look, I just know when there's all this shit going on, and at the end of the day, all them dudes are fake, man. I've seen it. I can see right through it. I can spot a fake motherfucker a mile away. And that's just what it is. They got. You can just see it, man. I can see it in the smile. I can see it in the whole little freaking get down. They don't give a fuck, man. They just care about their own little ambitions, and that's just how I feel about it. If I had to vote a certain way, I would have voted for Trump. You know, I know that's probably a controversial thing to say, but I would have, just to piss everybody off.
I think I would have voted for Pedro if he was a candidate.
Oh, you give me anybody else. Give me a third party. I don't give a shit who they are. They're voting. But if I had to choose between Kamala or Trump, I'll go for Trump. If I got to choose between, I wouldn't have done Robert Kennedy or no, I don't know who he is, just because I don't know enough about him.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I don't think that. Look, I agree with some of the stances of the Republican Party. I'm not trying to get into like as far as the abortion issue and all that other stuff. You know, like I just think that the government should stay off of people's bodies. I don't agree on all that, but you don't get everything you look for in a candidate. You just don't. And I don't care if Trump won the porn star. I just really don't. I don't give a crap. You know, what I care about is
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
financial stability. I care about that. I care about the world, like where we stand in the world, as far as like, do I think when
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
are they going to take Kamala seriously? So I think about those. Hey, the phone's going to cut off right now, and our door's open for day room.
All right, cool.
So you want me to give you another call back?
Yeah, call me back
Give
to
you a
let
call
me.
back and try to get on the phone?
Yeah, yep.
All right.
All right, cool.
All right, I'll call you back.
All right, cool.
All right,
Thank
later.
you. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna cut the stream right now, and I'm gonna start up a new stream as soon as they hit me back up on the video visit, and I gotta go ahead and set up some stuff in the background to make sure that I'm able to transmit the video visit correctly. Anyhow, hey, I want to go ahead and thank everybody that stayed in and tuned in on either on TikTok or on YouTube. Really appreciate you guys. Chubby Jessica, Elice Man, California 11. Who else did we get in over here on YouTube? I think that was pretty much it. And over here on the TikTok side, let's see, Carla Diaz. Highly appreciate that. Let me see how those do we got. We got the Zone 760. We got Miss Vero 559. And let me see, Jesse B the one. And let me see who else. Sanho 408. Oh yeah, can't forget about Sanho 408. Yep. All right. So there wasn't that much chatter, but like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream. If you're signed up for the notifications, you'll get it. If you're not, then check back in a bit, and if we're live, then you'll go ahead and be able to see them live and direct, from the day room. All right. So like I said right here, lights like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out, and with that, we're out. A rato. Oh, sorry, Chubby Jessica. I just saw your question just come in. Let me take a picture of it so I could read it. I could ask them while I got them on the line. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? I'll just leave the chat up. Oh, they're calling back? Let me see here. Oops, I picked it up on the phone. Shit.
This call is now being recorded.
David Lopez.
Un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela,
Let me see,
California.
what is this
Esta
at?
llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
And for YouTube, just hold on. I'm gonna just, if I could keep it running without cutting it, I'll try to run it. Hello.
James.
Yeah.
What's up?
All right.
I'm on the kiosk right now. I'm trying to see if I got it. I don't know if it works. So I don't know. He went to the other side. He should be coming back right now. I'm trying to see. Are we on right now?
I was about to cut the YouTube stream because I was gonna open it back up right now as soon as you guys called back.
I don't know if this thing's working right now. Hey, will this thing work while I'm on the phone? Yeah. Well, you gotta get off and then go back on. Okay. Hey, okay, so do you want me to just call on right now?
Yeah, call and we'll check. Oh, you know what? I picked up on the cell phone, so it probably if you want to hang up and do the video visit and we could check if it works like that.
Yeah. All right, I'll call. Which one do you want me to call? The FG9 or the regular one?
The regular one. Call the regular one.
All right.
All right, cool. All right, bye. All right, so right now we're waiting for him to call back. I'm trying to set everything up as fast as humanly possible over here. Let me make sure I got everything running. Okay. Okay, I got that. And let me see. I gotta move this over here. Let me see. So just bear with me here if you're watching. Let me see. I gotta do. It's been a while since I done this. So let me see here. No, not this here. I gotta set see window capture. Let me see. Okay, got that. Let me see here. Automatic. Did I get it? Okay. All right, cool. I think I got it. So I just gotta adjust it right now when they call. And let me let's make this a little bit smaller here. Okay, I think I got it right now. So as soon as they call up, I'll go ahead and it's not popping up on the screen yet. So okay, so I think I'm ready. All right. So thank you for staying on there. I see there's 5 people on there, and as soon as they come up on the screen here, then you guys will be able to see it on your end there. Oh shit! I almost dropped my computer. Let me see. I'm working on my laptop right now, and then I got like this little workstation. Okay, I got the pop-up here. Let me see. Oh shit. Oh. Let me fix this before my computer falls. It'll be all bad. Hello, hello. Oh shit, hold on. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Let me see. Let me make sure the volume's not working. Oh shit, what am I doing wrong? Hold on. I'm trying to let me see here. So I got the Bluetooth here. Talk. So let me see if I can hear you. Yeah, it's not working. Let me shit, hold on. Let me double check something. Hold on. So we're on a video visit, but I can't hear him, so I'm checking the settings on my phone over here to check to make sure I got everything connected correctly. And let me see here, connected for audios and calls. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you guys on speaker, but the audio's not coming through. All right. I'm trying to plug in the audio. It's not coming through right now. So let me try to fix it up really quick. See. Oh, I think I got it. Hello? Can you hear me now? I think I had it on mute. You can't hear me? Call. Hang up. Call back. Call back. Call. All right. So I'm having some technical difficulties over here. I think they should fix it right now when he calls back. Let me see here. Bluetooth. Okay. I think I know what's wrong. I had it on mute, so when he calls back, hopefully it goes through. And if it does, then I'll go ahead and patch it through. Okay, the app's not doing anything right now. Let me close it down and I'm open it up again. Here we go. All right, so I was trying to figure out why I couldn't hear. I could see the video, but I couldn't hear him. So I'm hoping right now when he calls back, that fixes the issue with it. Sometimes when I do these things on the fly, it didn't work out the way I envisioned it. So we'll see if I got everything situated right now when he calls back. All right. You see this right here. All right. So right now I'm just waiting for him to call back. Once he calls back, then I won't know if it's working. You know what? I should. So I got the Bluetooth hooked up. The audio here. All right. Let's see. Let me see. Source here. Okay, so we're still waiting for the visit. And I'm trying to also set up see here. I got a black screen. Why do I have a black screen? Oh, I had turned it off. Let me see. Okay, I got that on. Okay, here we go. Hopefully I can hear them now. All right, let's see. Hello?
Yeah.
All right, cool, cool. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Hey, Jesse's waiting on your SG9 one.
I don't have that one on me right now.
All right. I'll tell him to hang up. Hold on.
Okay.
He's right here. Okay. I logged out of that one.
Okay. All right. So I'm on. We're still live right now, so they could hear us right now on YouTube. I'm gonna start transmitting on. Sorry, there was an issue for it failed to start video. Okay. I'm not sure what happened. It ended up cutting off, but it's working now. So that's definitely a good sign there. All right. So hopefully he calls back right now. When he calls back, then let me get I'll get the image up on the screen as soon as he calls back. Let me see here. Go live. Okay. Chat. All right. So we are ready. We're ready to go live. Okay. So right now, yeah. So I'm just waiting for them to call back, and then as soon as they call back on the video visit, then we'll go ahead and continue. I figured out what was wrong. I just needed to start off on a fresh call to be able to connect, and for some reason it disconnected. So I'm not sure what was happening over there on that side, but so let me. I'm gonna share some of the trip that we had when we went to El Salvador. I did a few video visits, and I've already released the first few ones that we did. The first visit I did was with Silas, which was it was in a very interesting area. He was tripping out on it. You know, I've been to that area before. I definitely would have not walked around that area back in 2000 and what was it? 2017. But now it's totally different now, and I felt safe walking around. The second video visit I did was that same day, but later in the night was with Eric, which I also released. The third one was with Joseph Castro. Today was the last one that I did with him, and then I did some with Javier, with Gary and Tito, and with David and Felipe. So I'll be releasing those in the next coming weeks. You know, I normally edit those videos normally when either the day before, the day of, when I release them. And I still haven't worked on the video for tomorrow. I'm not sure who's coming on tomorrow, but I gotta work on that either today or tomorrow, and I'll be releasing it at I've been trying to stay consistent on the times that I release the videos. Normally I release them at about 6. Some days it's been 7, just because like yesterday I got a little bit backtracked, and by the time I uploaded it and whatnot, it wasn't going to be ready till about 7 p.m. So today I was able to do it at 6, but we were here on the phone call. Hopefully nothing happened over there on that side in the day room, and that's why they're not calling me back. because it just the video visit would just cut off out of nowhere. So hopefully everything's all well over there. I know when I was in El Salvador, there was other things going on in the background. There's been a lot of issues with the GTL system, with being able to send messages, the phone calls, and I had some video visits scheduled for Wednesday, but every first Wednesday of the month they have a down day, or what's known as a down day. I guess they do trainings for the staff members in the facility. So Wednesday we weren't able to do that, and then I think there was an assault. I think like on Thursday or Tuesday, so that definitely put a damper in my day as far as when it came to the video visits. There was one day where we were in the beach that I was hoping we were able to do some video visits, but it didn't work out that day. So all right, they're calling back, so I'm guessing the tablet might be let me see here. Okay.
Esta es
This call
Global
is now being
Talent.
recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. Gracias por utilizar Global Talent.
Hello.
Hey,
Yeah.
I tried a bunch of times, and it keeps kicking me out, and it's kicking everybody else out. So
Okay.
what's going on with the video calls? It's all bad.
Okay. Well,
So I'm even on the wall phone right now.
yeah, I could hear it.
I'm not even on the tablet. Yep.
Okay. Well, hey,
So,
I appreciate you trying. Sometimes these things happen, like I was mentioning to the audience. There's been all kinds of issues going on with the tablets. Even if it's not the tablets, assaults are going on. So, it just comes with the territory.
goes with the territory. So if you want, we'll try to plan it again.
Yep.
In the week, we start school this week, but I mean, we can try to figure something out. We'll
Okay.
just stay in touch, and I appreciate you. All right, Jens. For me and Jesse, man, we just want to say we send out to everybody. All right.
All right, cool. Then, hey, you guys go to have a good evening, and we'll be in contact.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. All right,
Okay.
later, Jens.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye. All right. So you guys heard it right there. I'll try to get a video visit going on sometime this week, and just stay tuned. So I want to go ahead, for those of you that stuck out and wrote it out and wrote it to the end, and you guys saw what just happened or heard what happened. My apologies. Unfortunately, I don't have control, with the GTL system. But this time I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream. And like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we are out. You guys go ahead and have a good evening.